Hello, everybody, and welcome to A State of Affairs. We are in the penultimate episode, or one might say perhaps the ultimate episode. No, it's going to be that good. I'm preparing all of you for it. Don't mess up. I say, looking at the players. Pressure's on now. You're welcome. It's lovely to see all of you here. Thank you so much for joining us. If you are unfamiliar with Good Society or A State of Affairs is using the Good Society RPG system by Story Brewers, which is an RPG system intended to essentially recreate stories in the vein of Jane Austen's novels, romance, scandal, drinking tea, and just being just kind of terrible upper class British people. Yes. That's functionally who we are in this story. And we are on our 5th episode, so a lot of stuff has happened. I'll catch you all up on that in a moment, but there's a few reminders and announcements for you. As before, there is a command in chat, !BLM, Black Lives Matter, to get some information so you can learn a little bit more about what is happening in the world, prepare yourself, be involved, and donate to organizations and so forth. There's also a link down below on the page. So check those things out, learn, educate yourself, and I know a lot of us have been sharing resources and things like that too, so you can learn there as well. The other thing that we have is perhaps you would be interested in knowing about a new show that is coming to Table Story. We might have a slight teaser for you. It may also be super relevant to certain announcements that also came out today. Very convenient. I will let the trailer roll.
How far would you go to discover? What risks would you take to understand? The unknown is forbidden. There's so much more to discover before the world ends. The unknown awaits.
I was watching the trailer, so I was very excited. That's why I was just like...
I was also watching the trailer. I was like,
me too.
So we're all very excited, clearly not paying attention to the part where we're doing a stream.
We're like, oh,
Anyway.
stream.
I thought I was watching a
Did
stream.
anyone check out the Horizon Zero Dawn trailer for this new cool TTRPG show? Also, they, I guess, announced like they're making a sequel or something. I don't know. It's cool.
Whatever.
Oh, they're doing a sequel to the RPG?
Way more important.
Yeah, they're doing a sequel. They're already doing a sequel to the RPG show.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's been
Yeah, I know,
pre-renewed for a second season.
Yeah, it's pretty great. It's pretty great. So
I have
anyway.
questions about the show. None of you can answer them, so that's fine.
No,
but like,
I can't
gotta know,
either.
like what
Even if we
system
could,
is
we
it?
probably
Who are the
wouldn't be allowed to.
players? Am I
The
in
system is... I don't know. I don't know anything. Yeah, you just find out day one. Get on in here.
I think that's like the actor's nightmare where you're just like, oh, I'm in a stream in 15 minutes. Oh.
Oh, I have not yet.
Also, I have no pants on, but it's fine because it's a stream.
That's canon now, everybody.
Canon.
No pants.
No pants.
No pants stream. Anyway,
Don't reveal my secrets right now.
I wore like jean shorts last week, so...
that is
very
possibly
warm.
one of my favorite parts about doing
Somebody
like the
draw that.
costuming.
Yeah.
Is that you're like
Just
up
like
top?
Edward Pembroke from the waist up, and then it's like itty bitty jean shorts from the waist down.
Pasty ass, long ass legs.
So is it like bro shorts on the bottom Edwardian on the top, Regency
No,
on the
like
top.
high-waisted lady jean jorts.
Yes.
Ooh, jorts.
It's like little,
Because it's
little like.
it's like Regency from like the rib cage up, really.
Yeah,
Like-
exactly. It's barely even
Really?
that.
Anyway, let's introduce these wonderful people. Murgles, who are you, wearer of the jean shorts?
Oh, hello. I am a wearer of jean shorts, actually. So that's the most information, most important thing you need to know about me is that I wear jean shorts. Also, I stream sometimes during the week, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, geez. And we just finished up our fundraiser for the Veil Project today. It was my very first fundraiser, and we raised over $3,000, which is insane. So that's awesome. Thank you to the world for that. Yeah, that's about it. You can find me if you wanna. I'm around. Thank you so much. I'm playing Edward. That's what's happening.
But who's Edward?
Pembroke? Well, Edward is a brooding, a brooder. That's it. That's about it. Drama, sadness.
Broody boy.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of not so broody, but let's go up to Trooper.
Oh, yes. Hello. I am Trooper SJP, and you might find me at Trooper SJP on the Twitch. I stream the things, which tends to be what you do on the Twitch. Video games, RPGs, you know. And I am playing Cuthbert, Lord Cuthbert Ashby, eldest son, second eldest child of the Ashbys, who are the nobility of this area, the gentry. And I am not broody. Well, maybe on the inside. On the outside, I drink a lot of absinthe. And then sometimes that makes you broody, because absinthe sometimes makes the heart grow fonder. That's...
All right, I'm so sorry, but I have to live quit this TTRPG right here, right now.
Well, that's really awkward because I was gonna have you introduce yourself
Yeah.
next, Lexi. So why don't you just sign off for us?
Hi, it's Lexi Games. It was great to be Lady Florence Ashby, but she actually died just now, and she won't be returning to the game. So she got a heart attack.
No.
Well, then you'll just be Millie.
Tell you
Rough.
Hi. I'm Lexi Games. I'm playing games on the internet, if you couldn't tell by the games part of my name. Never made that connection before. I got to play a cool game about the ocean today. It was really cool and also scary because
Yeah.
sperm whale noises are horrific and beautiful, but also very scary. They sound like
One of my
demons.
friends worked on that game.
It's so beautiful. I'm obsessed
Yeah,
with whale
it's very
sharks.
cool.
They're like my number one go-to. So I
nice.
like swam in it. It was the first thing I saw, and I was just like, that's an exact reenactment of what my face looks like. Anyways,
Perfect.
you can go. I do things, and you can watch them, and or not. Also, this month we're raising money for Trans Lifeline. If you want to come donate and help us raise money for an incredible fund to protect our most vulnerable members of the LGBTQIA society. And society makes us sound like a cool club where we have tea.
It does. And we do.
We do.
It's where we talk about the agenda.
Sometimes not the good kind of tea.
And frogs.
Agenda.
I play Lady Florence Ashby. She's basically dead. She's 23 and she's not yet married, so she's also a floozy. So, you know, we'll see what happens to her today. Good God, I'm so sorry. Goodbye.
Lexi Games, the dead floozy. Is that you just not gonna be yours?
Hold on, I'll change my Twitter bio for you.
Yeah, there you go.
Bring us home, Bonsai.
Alright, I have a good one now. Hey, I'm Bonsai Baby. Guess what? I play with my wood on stream. By wood, I mean woodworking.
Hey.
Hey,
Oi, oi, oi.
We have like foghorn noises for the background.
yeah. But yes, so yeah, I just do woodworking on stream. You can find me here on Twitch. I also do the as the kids say, TikToks as well. So you can find me on there. It's mostly just dogs. That's pretty much my TikTok. It's just dogs. But yes, I play Charles Alexander Griffith V. You guys always forget to mention the fifth. It's very important. and he is awesomely just the most bravest, strongest, noblest of all characters that ever have seen Good Society. Just so you know, just awesomest.
I was gonna redo the lyrics to Gaston, but to be about Charles, and then I was trying to write something with Hunt, and it did not go well. So, hi everybody, my name's Random Tuesday.
Front?
Oh, that's better than where my brain went. Hi everybody, I'm Random Tuesday, I'm your facilitator, and previously on A State of Affairs, we have been introduced to a number of different characters, but I feel like let's just kind of summarize the last 30 minutes of last episode, because I feel like things truly escalated there. For example, last episode featured an elephant, because the circus was in town. And really, that was less important than everything that happened in the last 30 minutes, give or take. So, what happened entirely? We have Edward, whose father is terrible. He challenged his father to a duel, but Cuthbert intervened and challenged the father for a duel instead, and told Edward to go back and to declare his love for Florence that he had already broken up with. Because he...
But I didn't know that.
But you didn't know, but Cuthbert didn't know that. But Edward had already called it off with Florence, even though their engagement had entirely been a secret. And so Edward rode Windblade back across the heath to get to Florence in time to tell her that actually, JK, he was just kidding. And meanwhile, Cuthbert and Richard, the father of Edward, had a bit of a tiff, but the result being that Richard agreed to fake his own death, I think was how that was determined.
So it wasn't an actual duel, but just like fake his own death?
It was a verbal one, yeah.
It was a verbal.
So he agreed to fake his own death in said duel, but that didn't actually have to happen. Because as far as he was concerned, there was no way he could win. Like, either he killed a Viscount, and that went terribly for him, or he died, and that's also not so good for him. So he wrote a letter, which the contents of which we have not heard, but it should remove any stain upon Edward's reputation. And Richard Pembroke will now disappear off into the ether, having faked his own death in a duel against Cuthbert.
And not show up either in Scotland or on the continent.
Yes.
He has to stay in the New World.
He has to leave. He has to leave the continent forever. So, Edward rides off across the heath, gets back to the estate wherein we find Florence crying at her mother's bed because, her mother being 39 is dreadfully ill with the consumption. At that moment, just as Edward is going to say something important, I think two separate things happened. The debt collectors arrived, because it turns out the Ashbys have some unaccounted for debts. So the debt collectors arrived to start collecting things from
It was the collapse of the tulip market.
The debts. It probably was. And simultaneously, a constable arrived to arrest Edward for the murder of his father, Richard Pembroke, in an unsanctioned duel. But then Cuthbert showed back up to say that, nay, the duel had indeed been sanctioned because he was a lord, and a lord can sanction those things that they said, but you are not a lord, you have been disinherited. And then Cuthbert said, but no, I have the paperwork. And then it turned out no one could find the paperwork. And so Cuthbert was arrested instead of Edward, and so we left the end of the episode. We actually didn't do our letters, and we can make a decision as a cast if we feel like we want to do letters, or if we feel like we actually haven't finished that novel chapter and we kind of need to pick up things, or we just want to start a whole new one. So we can kind of decide. But we left with Cuthbert Ashby in prison. I mean, he's being very well taken care of while they try and find the paperwork to clear things up, but he's not allowed to go home.
Well, the biscuits were made with lard, so it feels like prison.
It's positively abysmal for him. We also have back at the estate Florence Ashby, who is, shall we say, a bit peeved with Edward, and perhaps refusing to speak to him, but he now has to stay there for 24 hours per Cuthbert's word. I think while Richard basically leaves. So he's not allowed to go
Yes.
back to the estate to discover that his father didn't actually die in
Yes.
the duel.
Yes, because
No one's allowed at their estate.
No, because we basically have to not ruin the plan to get
Yeah,
the father
yeah.
out.
Well, because
That
it
would be
takes a bit of
terrible.
time to pack up the circus. They can't
There's
just
an
like
elephant.
leave immediately. I like that the constable has not. I bet they go. I just, as a separate aside, I bet the like constables showed up at the Pembroke estate, and we just have this like comedy of errors in which the circus are like constantly hiding Richard and like pretending that there was a duel, and they're like throwing like ketchup on the ground, being like, "Look, he was murdered here. Oh no, you can't investigate it." And
But, I mean,
just,
they are actors.
yeah, and it's just like this huge comedy of errors as they're like trying to sell the story that he died, and like no one's getting it right, and so the constable just leaves very confused, and that's just like a whole separate side plot that we see with the circus. And Charles also broke.
Oh,
I was gonna say Maggie's heart, but that's not her name.
Millie.
Mildred's heart. Millie. So that was a whole separate thing that happened. Did I miss any key details from the end of last episode, do we think?
I proposed.
yes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, last episode, Florence
There was a
did get
fainting.
proposed to by Charles, and then there was a fainting, and then everything was kind of messy.
And currently, Florence has the letter that Richard wrote that would clear her beau Edward's name because Cuthbert's like, take this letter before I get taken off to the Hoosgow. But I don't think she's read it yet. So
No, 'cause
and then
Have not.
Yeah.
Mama-
I'm looking for your technical, like you being part
The
of
paperwork.
the family still. Yeah, I'm looking for the
yeah,
paperwork.
but Mom's in a state, you know.
Oh, she's in a coma.
she's in a coma.
Yeah, she's in a coma. She hasn't woken up.
That's some
Yeah.
kind of state for sure.
That is certainly it's in a state of
It's a-
affairs.
Yes.
Oh, and either Robert or Gregory had something happen to them when a carriage overturned over a bridge, but you don't know which one.
Yep, we don't know which one.
Also, I believe that Edward and Florence are now currently locked up in the house together
They are.
for 24 hours.
That
Yes.
goes super well. Okay.
After he
So-
was a jerk and said he didn't want her anymore.
Yep. All right. So with that, do we want to just start a new cycle of play? Are we all right leaving off with not having had a letter writing section? And then
Yeah.
we'll just start our next novel chapter. Okay. I just wanted to check because not a ton of time will probably have passed as we've established that like you're going to be in that house for 24 hours. So I think it's okay to leave off the letter writing unless anyone had a particularly important letter they felt like they needed to have sent in between the previous.
Well, I mean, I can always send a letter from prison, a very short one to my sister.
Do you want to?
Yeah, just a really short one. To my sister from prison. Like, I've only been there for like a half hour. It would be something
You
like,
pay the man to expedite it there.
Yes.
Runs fast on a horse. It's an emergency.
it'd be just like, my dearest sister, please know, I'm languishing away in prison. Well, more like the constable's cottage of some sort. You must know that the conditions here are terrible. They don't have good tea. It's some, I don't know, some sort of, I don't even know if it is tea. They don't have any sort of alcohol that I can have at all. I think they might have some sort of ale? Some sort of country ale? I don't know. I have to take, I've taken off my jacket. It's too difficult here at all. I don't know if I might survive this. I must tell you, the food is terrible. They've only fed me once, and I've been here for a whole half hour. I don't know if I'll survive, but I will. I'll be brave for you, my sister. But please, if you might find that paperwork, it would be quite convenient. And I want you to know that next to me, in this cottage, there's a man who was drunk and fell off his horse, and he's sobering up. Next to me, even. Well, it's terrible. That's all. Please note, yours forever, perhaps forever in prison. Your brother, Cuthbert Ashby.
I love how there's a question at the end of your brother. Your brother?
This is it.
Am I?
Am I? Have I been
Just like to
disinherited
say
forever?
that Florence Ashby will not be responding to that letter for her brother's melodramatics. So we clear there.
Oh, that's a really good negative tag for later. Melodramatic.
Oh,
I'm ready.
melodramatic. That is a very good one. I like that right now you have a negative tag. Possible murderer.
I do.
Yeah.
Just.
All right. So, we will begin our next novel chapter. I think the previous day was perhaps quite late into the day by the time all of these things were happening. If you did anything in the evening, that's fine, but we can sort of bright and early, Cuthbert having roughed it on the constable's care the previous night.
It wasn't even a full-size bed. Like, I just don't,
No.
I think there was straw involved.
Yes.
Or hay. I can't.
It was very rough. It was awful.
Listen, it's the way that middle-class people live. I don't even know.
Right.
If I could
Upper
survive.
middle class, actually.
Yes, it's the way that upper middle-class people live. Whatever can I do?
The worst. So the next day, perhaps, what is anyone up to? I know there's paperwork that needs to be found. The debt collector started appraising various things and probably left. But with a "we'll be back."
With probably some items.
Yeah.
A couple.
Oh yeah. They definitely left with like a couple of like a painting and like a clock. You know.
I believe I would like to help Florence look for the paperwork if she would have me.
Oh, would you?
So what does perhaps breakfast look like? You know, in the morning, like how does-
Awkward?
Oh, I imagine we have like an exceedingly long grand table, and I'm making Edward sit at the very other end of the table, and I'm sitting at the very other end of the head of the table, and Edward's trying to talk to me from a distance, and I'm just like, the toast is so crunchy. I just can't seem to hear.
Oh, the tea's quite lovely. Whether would you like to take a turn on the outside today? No? Okay, yes. I believe I deserve that, of course. Cracking hollandaise.
William?
Yes, ma'am.
William, do you hear something at the end of the table? Perhaps a raccoon has gotten into the estate again.
I can go and check. Yes, if you would like.
Yes,
me
please,
to,
check on the raccoon at the end of the table, William.
He like walks to the other end of the table, the very long table. Do you need anything, sir?
No, William, I do believe I'm just a raccoon, and raccoons don't need very much except for garbage. So,
I didn't know we'd heard of raccoons yet. They're not very common in England in the sense that they don't exist here at all.
yes, well, I have also heard from overseas.
Thing.
Yes, I've heard from the New World. From one of the players, they were talking about raccoons.
Perhaps they brought
Strange
one with
creatures. Well, they did have an elephant, so I wouldn't be surprised. And they did have my father, which is a beast worse than all others. So,
Yes, I'm sorry for your loss. I'm not quite certain.
William, don't be. It's glorious news.
Yeah, good. Yes.
I mean, I'm sorry. Yes, very sad.
But tragic, really. That duel, that definitely happened.
Yes.
So,
Well, William, I would
tea.
Yes, that would be perfect. Thank you ever so much.
Pours you some more tea and then walks back to the other end of the table. I do believe the raccoon has been sated, ma'am, with more tea.
Excellent, William. Do you happen to have any... Oh, jeez, Louise. Wow, I can really hear the slurping all the way from across the table. William, would you happen to have a lead on where you think that Cuthbert could have stored those very important documents that he just so happened to lose hold of? Or was it my mother?
Well, it would have been your mother who had the
Both
documents.
just as forgetful, unfortunately.
Signed them. It's hard to say. She was squirreling things away in, the twilight hours of her illness.
Ha! Do you mean raccooning them away? Ha ha!
It's like chirping almost, like the ruffling of tiny hands through garbage down there. I frankly can barely hear over that loud, papery noise. Sorry, what were you saying, William, before the...
I was
large
just,
trash
she had
animal?
a lot of papers. I will, perhaps we could start with her room. Do
Yes.
you want me to find some entertainment for our guest or something, perhaps?
Raccoon man!
Yes, Lady Florence.
Would you like to apologize to me in the garden? Perhaps help me find the very important paperwork that I need.
Yes, I think yes, I think I'd enjoy that. Indeed.
Thank you. William, could you bring some tea to the garden, please?
Of course, ma'am. Yes, I will prepare the veranda. That's a word we use here, too.
Thank you for that. Lesson
Just
on
a
literature.
small, handsome raccoon on a veranda.
I don't actually know. Veranda?
That is very British. That's like the raccoon on the veranda, perhaps also with a hot dog and apple pie. This is the most British thing ever.
Just
The elephant walks by in the distance.
I just want to be very clear. There was a question on the internet, which is what's the difference between a porch and a veranda? And apparently a veranda is Portuguese for porch.
oh,
Well, there you know.
Lovely.
The more you know.
I thought the difference was verandas were fancier. That's right?
Well,
They're just-
but then there's a gazebo. Gazebos are an internal structure. I don't
Gazebos
even
are-
know
yeah.
why you would
Verandas.
include
no,
that.
gazebos are outside, but they're all on their own.
They're
Yeah, you-
round.
you go
Yeah,
there.
They're like a round.
Portuguese!
Oh, Portuguese. Then that's good. Hello, chat. I see you. Chat. I see you. I see you. You're here for the puns. I get
This
it.
whole
I get it.
website. Wow, this is a website.
Welcome to the comedy episode.
We are really on brand today.
We're doing great here. I assume they have a gazebo. It seems quite proper to have a gazebo, really. Anyway, I shall prepare the tea, and then I will ensure that your mother is well. I think the doctor may be coming today to check up on her.
Well,
She hasn't
let me know.
woken up yet since, you were proposed to.
It is unfortunate that the moment that would cause me the most distress would also cause my mother such distress that she went into a coma so that I have nobody to confide in. I wonder what was so distressing. Do you know anything about why that might have caused my mother so much distress, William? You two do seem awfully close.
No idea.
Oh. It's quick and convincing for sure. All right, thank you, William. I'll meet you outside in the garden as soon as possible.
William makes a hasty exit.
For the record, I wrote it down. The lawyer is Cumber Woodbridge Esquire. The doctor is Bridge Cumberwood. So there's Dr. Bridge Cumberwood and also Cumber Woodbridge Esquire, the lawyer. So just for the record,
Are they like
you.
related in some way? shape, or
probably. They might be the same person.
I know the way a raccoon is related to any other kind of animal.
Like a
Wait,
trash
so wait,
can.
sorry. We have Cumber
apparently.
Woodbridge and what was the
Bridge
other one?
Cumberwood.
Bridge Cumberwood.
Yes. So Cumber Woodbridge is the lawyer, but Bridge Cumberwood is the doctor.
It's a strong name.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Strong as a wooden bridge.
Dr. Wood and Mr. Bridge. So it seems like the doctor was going to come and check up on Lady Viscountess Victoria Ashby, my question for Banzai is, do you think Viscountess Victoria Ashby wakes up at some point?
I feel like her health was been bad enough, not in 24 hours. I feel like at least 3 days.
Okay, so you want to declare that she will be unconscious for 3 days.
For 3 days.
For 3 days and 3 nights she will sleep. So I think the doctor comes and will probably pass on that information. Then he, does his checkup on the lady, and he says she needs to sleep for at least 3 days.
Oh, such a specific amount of days.
I am a medical professional.
Oh, of course. What was I thinking? Thank you so much. I will sign the bill and have you on your way.
Woman.
An ignorant one. Thank you so much for pointing that out. I love it when people say that to me. Here you go.
She's unmarried too.
Why are you in my mother's quarters, Raccoon?
I just peeked in. Sorry.
You just pop it in the window. Like an actual
I'm married.
Oh, but she can whisper things in her sleep, though, even in her coma.
Does she whisper anything in her sleep?
As I go to kiss my mama, do I hear anything in my ear?
You would hear the name of your father. Treasure box.
Mother, treasure box. Mother! Not like slapping her, but like gently shaking her shoulder. Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. William! Sorry, William!
Yes, my lady.
Whisper, William. She's supposed to sleep for 3 days. How inconsiderate.
Yes, my lady.
William, have you heard anything about my dead father's treasure box? Or is that some sort of strange thing I shouldn't know about?
I don't know. Is that a euphemism for something that, your mother has many secrets.
It's true.
What?
Perhaps you should focus on finding the paperwork that she signed, declaring your brother to be re-inherited, thus getting him out of prison.
Oh, of course. Hey, William. What are the chances my mother keeps a diary?
And I feel like he just, looks over to the side table. I am certain she would never do such a thing.
Oh,
And then,
never.
leaves the room.
I'm just gonna back up because I assume the doctor's, watching me to make sure that I'm not doing anything, disturbing.
Oh, I think you paid the doctor. He's probably left.
Oh, he's gone. Perfect. I'm just gonna walk over to the side table then and, see if I can open the drawer.
Banzai, do you think the Lady Victoria Ashby keeps a diary?
Yes.
It is also canon that Florence can pick locks as well as forge.
That is true.
That these are some canon things about her, just in case.
Oh, God. He's really become some sort of monster.
We do know that you
Or
were
just-
a bit of a tearaway, so there is a
Yes.
whole resolve token there that you can use.
Just gonna say Edward is very into it, so don't worry.
Is Edward there?
Apparently he's outside the window.
No, he's not there currently. I just mean he's into the tearaway aspect.
In general.
Just in case anyone was wondering how Edward felt about that, which no one was, but I thought I'd throw it in there, as Edward. I gotta speak for him,
I wondered.
Are the chances then, if the bedside table is locked, that Lady Florence Ashby uses her ruthless tag to pick the lock on her mother's bedside table?
Are you all right with this, Banzai? Do you accept this
Banzai,
resolve token?
would you like this resolve token? Oh,
I will take this resolve token.
So, using the ruthless probably means something negative will need to happen to you in some capacity, because it is your negative tag to get rid of it. Alternatively, you could just use the one from the rumor that you were a bit of a terror.
oh, okay, yes. Let's use the run from the rumor then.
So you still have the ruthless tag, but we're using the one on the rumor sheet. So describe this moment where you get your hands
I think that Florence is
Innocent,
really
innocent
torn.
hands.
Yeah, because she's had a very frustrating morning where she had to have breakfast with the man who broke up with her yesterday, but is for some reason still in her house. And then her mother's in a coma and has to be there for 3 days, so she's like very upset because her mother is in a coma and her brother's in jail. But also she feels like she has to find out what William meant by her mother has a lot of secrets, so she's like touching her mom's bed, like, oh, I'm so sorry, as she starts picking the lock where she's like, nothing to
Imagine
see here,
You're like, I
mama.
need a hairpin, and you like pull one out of her hair.
Yeah, I like slip my hand under her like bonnet that she's clearly wearing while she sleeps and just like, sorry about that, mama. Just the doorknob on your bedside table was a little wiggly click. And you can just hear the lock snaps open. She just jiggles it. Bonsai, would you describe what my mother's diary looks like? Because I am assuming it's incredibly ornate. Does it have her name on the front? Is it bedazzled?
It's not bedazzled. It's just a very jet black leather book with like in writing her, like basically her name, Victoria, just in writing there. And there is a marker on there, like where it was last.
To a specific page where she was last writing?
Mm-hmm.
I think that Florence would find it too risky to start opening her mother's journal right beside her while she sleeps and is whispering in her sleep. So I think that she's going to tuck it underneath her like morning apron or a scarf and head very inconspicuously out of the room to the nearest room where her mother is not in a coma in. Grabs a sitting room nearby.
Don't worry, you have a lot of rooms.
There's just so many.
And how many of them have Edward brooding in them dramatically? I'm just wondering.
I'm going to the one specifically that Edward is not brooding in.
That's what you think. Go on.
It's like outside the
mean-
window, just like,
Edward's got resolve tokens.
Oh.
are you trying to hide in this room while I read my mother's journal?
No, I wouldn't do that. I'm trying to make you like me again, and being a weirdo is not going to do it. As much as I would like to.
I think that she sits down in a chair near the window and opens up to the last page that was being written on. And what does she read?
She reads it basically. I don't know. Do you want me to monologue this, or do you want me to
You
just
can do
say
it. I think it's
Whatever
up to you,
you want.
if you want to.
Yeah.
It's just you're in the scene, but, in diary form.
a diary form? Right. I have heard that the Griffiths has given an extravagant gift today. The breathing has gotten harder and harder. I wish that William could be by my side, but he needs to keep an eye on the children. I don't know. I have second thoughts. I thought that the Griffiths would be a good match, because at this point, we are only a Viscount in name. There is nothing left to the estate. I have gambled horribly with my children's inheritance. I only wanted to give them more than I could have ever imagined. But the Griffiths, they gave me bad information, and I cannot forgive them for that. I feel that it was all a ploy. There's darker secrets about, and I have what is important hidden in the garden. I do hope that my children will find it eventually, for if I pass, they must always know to just follow their father's lead to his favorite place. It will be hidden there, and there's so much I wanted to do before I've only learned what happiness is really meant. I must stop things before it is too late.
I would like to give a monologue token to Lexi. Florence, it's time to monologue.
Can we make it a thing for the rest of the series that we have to sing when we want somebody to monologue? Because
Yes.
I really enjoyed that.
Yes. I'm into it.
I think that she slams the book down because I don't think that she could bear to read any longer. That was enough. Those 2 pages were dense with knowledge. Lady Ashby like
Convenient,
sits
really.
back. It's wildly convenient that she had to read the whole diary. Sits back in her chair and rests the book on her lap and thinks, what does she mean? She wishes William was by her side. And gambling? Our entire inheritance? We truly have nothing left except some sort of wild treasure box in the garden. I can barely remember where my father used to go there. I'm supposed to find out where he's hidden some sort of treasure box filled with what? Gold? Secrets? Hopefully not more secrets. Feels like my past few weeks have been filled with nothing but them. I must focus. Get Cuthbert out of jail or whatever that is that he is. Summer camp, it seems like. And then, well, probably first I should talk to Edward. Even if I don't want to. It seems like now would be a very opportune time for him to be back on my side again. I could really use his help. As long as he's done going off to try to start wars with his own father. Which is ridiculous. Juvenile. Stupid, frankly, knowing that we were engaged, but whatever, it's fine. I'll write about that later. I'll go to the garden and find whatever gold is hidden there. Gets up. Just gotta go have a stern talking to with Edward in the garden.
I need to know what
So you make
Edward's
your-
eating. That's important. In the garden. At the gazebo.
That's right, the gazebo. The veranda.
I believe he's just drinking tea. He's not eating anything. Or he's perhaps nibbling on a small biscuit. Going, it's not that bad.
I hope not.
That's because you're not in prison like I am. If you were in prison, the biscuits would be terrible. No, they don't give you as many as you'd like.
Real butter. Real butter.
Edward.
Oh, hello, Lady Florence.
Mr. Pembroke.
I want to, may I, for a moment
you-
of your time,
What,
explain
Edward?
something?
Explain?
Yes.
I think there could be a reasonable explanation for your childish actions.
Well, the explanation is that my father certainly it appeared as though my future was completely ruined, and I needed to release you from said ruined future because I was going to go and do something very stupid and very foolish.
Edward, she's just gonna put a finger to his. Edward, I have to tell you something incredibly important before you talk about how your entire fortune and future is ruined. I have to tell you what I just found out.
Oh, do tell.
Okay, well, there is a chance that while I was saying good morning to my mother, she whispered my father's name followed by the word treasure box, and when nobody was in the room, I took 2 hairpins from her hair and broke into her bedside table. Don't look at me like that, Edward. It was
God, you're
necessary.
beautiful. I'm sorry. Continue.
Edward.
I'm sorry. I lost myself for a moment. Please continue.
I found her journal and opened up to the page where she had last written. First of all, I feel like we should whisper this, but my mother is in love with William, the servant.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes, William, the servant. She always says right up, not down. And yet, here she is, down. Besides the point.
Well, I must tell you, William is very formidable.
He's a lovely man, but I've been barking orders at him my entire life, and now he's supposed to be my father, and my mother's... Edward, my mother lost our entire inheritance gambling with
I'm sorry, what?
Somehow connected to the Griffiths family.
In fairness, the stock market is just rich people gambling. I assume that's what she meant. Bad business investments.
Bad business investments with the Griffiths family.
Oh, boy. Oh, bye. Oh.
So there is a chance that we are both penniless and stupid. Edward. What?
Nothing at all. Isn't it kind of brilliant, though? If we're
That we worked
penniless
so
and
hard.
stupid.
To not be penniless and stupid, and now we are both penniless and stupid.
Yes, but who cares about penniless and stupid people? That's the point. We can go out and live our lives and not worry about anything. I mean, other than dying and starving. And okay, yes, I see what your point is. I got excited, and the reality is hitting me once more. Okay, yes. Listen, it's darling, it's okay. We'll figure it out. Don't worry.
Your brother's letter describing the biscuits flashes into your mind. Biscuits with lard and not butter.
Edward,
I'm sorry, lard?
stop! Never mind. My brother. It was the biscuits in prison are made with lard and not butter, Edward.
Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. Disgusting. Edward, my mother wrote that there was a treasure box hidden at my father's favorite place in the garden, and my father's favorite place in the garden was the gazebo that we are currently standing on. And
Do you believe it's buried underneath the gazebo?
Well, I don't know. I was thinking perhaps we could jig around and see if there were loose boards or something ablaze, something to let us know where the treasure was hidden. Oh,
Yes, all right, let's do that.
Edward, your coat.
Yes,
Indeed.
we're going to be digging and doing various things, am I correct? We're looking for treasure.
Yes. Oh, it's warm out today, isn't it, Edward?
It's actually quite cold, but okay. We can warm up with the physical activity of digging.
Yes, of digging. Yes. I will kneel down here and check to look for loose boards. Perhaps you should check the shrubbery. Don't look at me, Edward. Please, I'm.
Oh, yes.
sitting
Oh,
on
I'm
the
ever
ground
so
like
sorry.
this, like
Sorry.
some
Yes.
sort of heathen.
Yes.
Bonsai, what are the chances that we find a loose board here?
Can I spend a resolve token?
If you like. This dude is amazing, so I was not gonna interrupt.
I just want to spend a resolve token right now before they can find anything for something dramatic to happen. Yeah. I would like to spend one of my resolve tokens as Heinrich, because I have one, to have someone who's not Heinrich, because, perhaps a messenger from the hospital, from the doctors, show up to say that Heinrich has awoken right in this moment before they can find anything exciting.
I think this would be for... Ooh, would it be for Florence or for Edward?
Well, I don't think it's doing anything bad to either one of them.
That's true. I don't think
You
I think
are
you're right,
cock
so
blocking
let's
our
go some
treasure
details.
hunt, and I beg to differ.
Okay, so I feel like it should go to Florence. And I feel like it should go to
That
Florence.
was why I was.
Gonna see forearm.
I just, yeah. There's some serious forearm going on right now, okay?
Oh my god.
No, that's fair.
I just
That's fair.
full on. He's about to.
Accept this resolve token.
I
Florence, will you accept this resolve token?
I will accept the resolve token, but I'm not happy about it, and I'll let you know. Wait, before I accept the resolve token,
Yes.
what are the chances that while looking for a loose board, I put my hand onto the board and Edward, not looking,
Yes.
perhaps also places his hand onto the same board and our hands touch, and
I will take that as a condition of my resolve token.
Yeah,
totally.
that seems very reasonable.
yeah, thank you. Thank you.
So we're both on our knees, touching
Yes.
around.
Excuse me, sir, Mr. Pembroke, I have news
yes.
for you.
Oh my
was-
goodness. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I just came all the way across the heath from your estate. There's a lot of circus people there still. That was quite a moment.
What
but
yes.
more importantly, your Heinrich, your friend Heinrich Fischer,
Yes.
he has awoken at the hospital.
He has awoken.
He was
Oh,
calling
oh,
for
my
you.
goodness.
He said he needed to speak with you right away.
Oh my goodness. Florence, do you know what this means?
Actually,
Yes, thank you so much for the information, sir. I will be heretofore quickly henceforth. Yes, okay, thank you. Florence, do you understand what this means?
What?
Heinrich told me that it was a C. Griffiths who shot him. And the Griffiths, according to your mother, are at fault for all of your pennilessness.
Why the Griffiths shot Heinrich, which might be connected to why my mother is in a coma and penniless.
Yes. Would you like to come with me?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Wait. William!
He disappears. He's always there. Yes, ma'am. What do you need?
He's like in a bush.
Yes.
William, first of all, congratulations. Second of all, could you continue searching for that paperwork? I have to meet with a person who almost died but is not dead and is somehow related to the Griffiths.
Oh, was this your friend when you came in covered in blood, sir?
Yes, exactly. That friend.
Yes.
Glad he's well. I'm glad he's well. Yes, I'll keep looking for the paperwork.
Thank you very much, William. Once again, congratulations. Have a good day. Bye, William.
Yes.
Bye.
Good job, William. Well done.
As they walk away, can I spend a resolve
He just
token
makes this
for
face.
something to happen?
Yes.
Yeah.
William, while he's on the gazebo, steps on a loose board. And then just like, oh, I must repair that.
Wait,
Yes.
we're not around? It just happens while he's away from us? No!
Oh,
I
my
will. I will
goodness.
accept that resolve token. I think that's probably one of Miss Ashby's.
Yeah.
William presumably did not know about the treasure. Like he knows
Yeah.
about some of the stuff. Like he probably knows about the debts, but he doesn't know anything about the treasure. So he's like, "Oh dear, this board is loose," and just like hammers it back down. Can't have someone tripping over that. Time to go look for the paperwork. Question for you, Trooper, because I feel like it's up to you and your desire to spend a resolve token, really, to have, which you have none. Perhaps we could find one from a reputation tag, but to have the paperwork discovered, sort of by William, is that something you would want?
I feel like if I would want it, I could not want it for this episode. I feel like, this
You
is
want
like the
Cuthbert to
paperwork.
stay in prison all episode? Maybe at least for the first half for now.
Yes, please. At least for the first half.
Because I do think Lordly.
Please,
as
I
a
would like to
passive
stay in
tag
prison.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Prison and suffering for just the first
Besides,
novel,
you're about
please.
to be Heinrich anyway.
Prison and
so,
biscuits.
Yes, prison and biscuits, please.
Kids is a great name for this episode.
I do. Okay, so I
It can't be found
haven't
just
seen
yet.
Charles in a while.
Yes.
So I would like to offer a resolve token. I'm not sure who this would go to, but I would like Charles to. To somehow witness what is happening between Edward and Florence in some capacity, like perhaps seeing them like dashing off to the hospital, perhaps even knowing about Heinrich.
Oh, yeah.
There's some options there. What are you thinking, Bonsai?
I think that will be a perfect time for me to go and visit Cuthbert in prison after I see that. I need to go into
So
action.
perhaps. Okay, so I like this. So I will. I think this is a resolve token that probably goes. I'm not sure it goes to anyone because it's kind of just a general one that to have. Charles, you are headed to the prison to speak to Cuthbert, and on your way there, you see Florence and Edward together, heading into town to the hospital, and they are just the two of them in the carriage.
No guardian.
No guardian, because the guardian's unconscious.
I mean, she has a lady's maid, right?
Yes.
Yeah, no, there's a servant guardian.
Not enough of a real guardian. Nobody of society.
No one of society.
Well, I mean, your oh my goodness, Henrietta might be there, the governess.
Oh yeah,
She's in the
it's
carriage with
Henrietta.
us? Is she giving us
Yep.
a safe sex talk? Because if so, I don't want her there. Because that's what happened
but
last
she-
time I saw her.
She's doing it with her eyes. She's doing it with her eyes.
She's like doing needlepoint, but she's like jabbing and pulling it out, like with such direct eye contact that I'm like sweating profusely in the back of the carriage.
Okay, so I'm clearing one of mine.
I might pass out and die, everybody. I'm just saying.
Charles witnesses this, and then let's cut to Charles visiting Cuthbert in prison, and then we'll go back to Edward and Florence visiting with Heinrich in the hospital.
Okay.
Okay. So, can I use the rumor token that the Griffiths have unsavory past to have two goons with me when this happens?
Hell yeah, you can. Yeah, I love it. Tell me about these goons as you come to the prison.
They're
Use this
goons,
term.
and also, to make it more legitimate, they are actually also part of the cops, or well, not the cops, the constables as well. So they clear the prison or the area, whoever, like the drunkard, and have them switch
Yeah.
shifts so I can talk to Cuthbert.
So, Cuthbert, you are in your small, sad room. The regular constable leaves. The drunkard next in the room next door is also gone. And then there's a knock at the door, and another larger, sterner-looking constable you don't recognize comes in and puts down aggressively a cup of tea. And then
I'm writing
"We come
poetry
in,
because.
sir."
I'm writing poetry because writing poetry when you're in prison is awfully romantic. And so yes.
And then a second person enters, and they like flank the doorway, and then Charles enters the room. It's very dramatic.
I say, Charles,
And I'll just snap my fingers, and the other two, we need alone time, please.
They nod, and they leave.
Charles, I did not know you were so friendly with the help. I mean, the constabulary.
There are many things you don't know about me, Cuthbert.
Apparently.
I feel like we've played enough games, and I'm here to talk to you man to man.
All right.
Cuthbert, I don't know how to tell you this, but there are larger games afoot in this town than you think.
Did you murder that man? Or the German one? Or attempt to?
No, I try to reason, but there are... Cuthbert, there are more things that you're better not knowing about.
Well, I have to say, there's a rumor that someone who looked suspiciously like you, Charles, was seen fleeing the scene, well, of the attempted murder.
People see a lot of things in this town, Cuthbert. Lots of things. Things that are probably left unseen. Let me go ahead and get straight to the point, and I'll just throw papers in front of him. The Ashbys have nothing.
What do you mean?
You are only a Viscount in name. You have nothing to your name. The house that you stand on is not yours. It is ours.
What do you mean, ours?
You cannot be this dull, can you?
No, I want you to say it. Spell it out. Put forth in words what sort of perfidious treachery you are on about. I want it named. Show exactly what sort of man you are, Charles.
The man I am isn't who I want to be. But in this society, if you do not be cruel, you are killed. Cuthbert, why do you think you were even welcome back into this town? Who do you think pulled the strings? Why do you think people are not throwing fruit at you and calling you sinful? Why do you think the parish hasn't even come for you? Who do you think's done all that for you?
And what is the cost of this present, Charles? I look at the paperwork. Some sort of extortion? Is this it? Blackmail? What is this paperwork?
My family has ambitions. As you know, my brothers, they didn't live long. There was many of us, and I'm the last one, to my father's disappointment. I didn't want it to be like this, Cuthbert.
But yet you maneuver to make it so.
Cuthbert, you were gone. You chose that gardener over me.
Charles. That
Why am I not good
gardener-
enough?
I look at the extortion paperwork. Well, that's an interesting question. What do you think love is, Charles? Do you think it's extortion? Do you think it's murder? Do you think it's doing some sort of thing with my mother to destroy my family? Destruction is not love, Charles. It is
What's the
obsession.
only love my father ever showed me?
Well, you must learn
My mother-
something different.
Cuthbert. Ultimately, I was able to swallow the truth. If I at least married Florence, and if we had children, I could have pretended it was ours.
Charles, we have never had that sort of a relationship. Charles, this is quite disturbing.
No, just don't, can't you see?
You what?
Cuthbert, please,
No. Charles, you have maneuvered my family to ruin. So that what? You might have my sister. Or
No,
me.
so I could have you!
No, neither way. It does not work that way. I will tell you something, Charles Griffith V. That gardener, as you call him, groundskeeper, head groundskeeper, if you will, has more honor, more faithfulness, and more human decency than you have shown the entire time I have known you. And the more I learn of what you have done as I've been away, the more disappointed I am in you.
How could you understand? You're allowed to be open with who you are and what you are.
Allowed is an interesting question, Charles. I'm not allowed. I take what I will, and I also pay the consequences for it. I have been sent away from my home for years. I've been made a ridicule. People mock me. But you know what? I do not care what this good society thinks of me. I care about my truth. And I may sacrifice my reputation at times for that. Sometimes I even sacrifice my relationships with my family, who sometimes cannot understand that I embarrass them in public. But I am who I am, Charles, and I shall not be ashamed of it. Because if you cannot live in your truth, you are not truly living.
We are in different worlds then, Cuthbert. Maybe I was just dreaming that.
Charles, you choose the world you live in. You make your choices. You must decide what sort of person you will be in your life. How much do you care about this Mayford? How much you care about what and who? You need to decide who you will be. Because in the end of the day, when the servants are gone, and there's no one else in the room with you, it is you who must take off your cravat yourself. It is you who must look yourself in the mirror. It is you who must decide, can you live with who you are? I choose to live with who I am. If you were such a great hunter, such a great sportsman, such a great pillar of the community, you would choose to be who you are and live a life with your eyes open. And you must open your eyes. I do not love you, Charles. I never have.
I cannot. But why not me? What is wrong with me?
Well, I'd say extortion would be one thing, manipulation would be another, perhaps also murder would be another. I can think of a couple of things off the top of my head, Charles. And I must say, this might be cruel, but I suspect you're not as good of a hunter as you think you are. Or perhaps, as you say. And I don't mean to be such, but it's time to come out with it, isn't it? Charles, is everything I know about you a lie? It seems to be so. How can I believe anything now? And what is this paperwork you hand me? What is this that you want me to do, to sign? What sort of disgracefulness is this?
Fine! If you want to go ahead and be like this and Charles will just start raging and throwing stuff in the room, I have nothing more to talk about. Nothing more! You can stay and rot in here if you want.
Charles.
Sorry! I can't, I'm sorry! And I leave.
Monologue token. I'd like to give you a
Thank you so much
monologue
for singing. Thank you.
token. I feel like a monologue token would be very appropriate in this moment.
I assume like Charles like flipped a table, right? Like
Yes. Yes.
It's like it's a very nice tea table. A teacup clatters and smashes on the ground. As you stand outside, we hear your monologue.
What have I been wanting all of these years? And I can't just come out with everything. I can't come out with who I am. It's wrong. It's sinful. It's wrong. It's sinful. It's wrong. It's sinful. No one will understand. No one will understand. Why are things like this? What? He doesn't love me. He's never loved me. Who am I? Who am I?
Oh my god, you can't just end that with a thumbs up. Jeez Louise.
You're like ripping us to shreds, and then you're like,
And scene.
Okay.
I need to ask, what's on the paperwork?
Yeah,
'Cause the
I
paperwork's
think
on
it
the-
counts.
It's the transitions that basically how much, over, I guess, basically the year your mother has been basically doing business and trading with various different stocks and where those have been going to. And basically,
Financial
like, at
records.
the end, yeah, financial records and basically, like, with an end statement of, like, all debts will be forgiven. If the Viscountess, like, title of, like, the marriage between the two happens.
Oh. And I think we will just end that scene with Charles looking at all of the paperwork and seeing...
Yeah.
Yeah, Cuthbert, thank you. Looking at all the paperwork and seeing everything. And
Wow.
dropping the papers on the overturned desk and sitting down on this chair and looking around at this place that has been wrecked and ruined. And perhaps looking up and seeing one of these sort of goonish thug constables who's not even really, I don't know who that is, and just noting that this is a bad scene. And I pick up the feather quill and I think dramatically.
Think dramatically.
I do. I think dramatically. There's like dramatic camera angles as I hold this feather quill. Oh, so good.
All right. Well, speaking of Florence and Edward, the two of you have headed to the doctor. So it's to Dr. Bridge Cumberwood's
Yes.
offices, where Heinrich is being treated.
oh no, the coat.
I'm sorry, I have to re-robe, you know.
You can't be so scandalous in public. You're not.
No,
you're not
absolutely
Cuthbert.
not.
I mean, you're not Cuthbert, for heaven's sakes.
But we can look for that thing again later if you want.
Yes, please.
So,
All right. So you arrive. Heinrich, what state do you appear to be in? Are you wearing your hat?
My hat is not far. It's on the what do you call it? The nightstand, of course. And I'm a little pale. I have lost a lot of blood, and I'm tired. My consciousness is barely in and out. I'm awake, but I'm not.
You're on a lot of morphine.
I'm on a lot of morphine. It's very nice. It makes everything seem so floaty. But I'm weathering it through. I'm in the bed in the infirmary.
oh Heinrich, my friend, how are you?
I've been better. I have more holes in my body than I should have.
Yes, you've looked better too.
Oh, is this Lady Florence? It is.
Yes, Lady Florence, this is my dear friend Heinrich.
Heinrich, it's nice to meet you. I've heard incredible things about you, but not about the extra hole. I didn't hear very good things about that. Are you feeling all right?
Lady Florence, I've heard the most wonderful things about you from Edward. He speaks of you only. All the time there in Prussia, all he would do was speak of you and the time you had in London. It was a large ball, I think. It was the ball of the Baronet of Northumbria, I think. It was
Yes,
he told
yes,
me
my
it
friend, it was. Your memory is still intact.
You told
That's good.
him everything, Edward.
Well, he's my dearest friend, and I would have hoped he would be my best man.
So nice to be able to have friends you can trust. I had to tell nobody here. They're all such gossips.
No, and I, of course, would always. It would be my honor to be the best man at this wedding.
You have to live, so you must.
We also have to get engaged again.
What?
Right.
I'm sorry, were we not?
Did you
Oh, I just
not
assumed.
break up with me? Should we
mean-
have this conversation over your friend's injured body?
Yeah, perhaps not, perhaps not. Oh, Heinrich.
Listen,
My dear. Yes,
I must tell you something very, very desperate.
okay.
Important. It's
Yes,
about
of
the night
course.
I was shot.
Yes, please. No, don't fall asleep. Don't fall asleep now.
Heinrich, please, we must.
Is it safe to say this in front of the lady's delicate sensibilities?
Oh, yes, she can do all manners of
Everybody
things.
thinks I'm delicate.
Yes.
It was Mr. Griffiths that shot me.
Mr. Griffiths, Charles Griffiths, the fifth.
Charles. The
No.
small one with the bad aim.
No,
No,
No.
his father.
it was his father.
Cain Griffiths. I went
My
to
good lord.
confront Charles. I sit up in the. I went to confront Charles. I discovered
please be
he was. He was. What is the word? Bamboozling the Ashbys.
Bamboozling.
I discovered that he was. What I'm about to say will be shocking. And it
Edward,
will-
hold my hand.
Go ahead. Yes, of course. I'll hold her hand.
I discovered that the Griffin family, they have been making the money, and I don't know if I can say. It is
Please,
too scandalous to say.
nothing's too scandalous.
They're part of the circus.
No, it is worse.
Worse than a circus.
Oh
They
no.
have a great deal of money. A great deal of money.
Well, that's not too scandalous, is it?
No, but how they got that money is scandalous.
How did they get that money, Heinrich?
As you know, I have been traveling.
Yes.
I've been abroad. I found evidence that the Griffins have been making their money through the opium trade.
Oh my god.
And they have
Opium
connections. Dangerous connections. They work on the black market. They work with opium.
They're
work
regular
with,
criminals, in fact.
yes. They are regular criminals, and as I went to go and confront this Charles about it, especially since I found out that he was the one that convinced Lady Ashby, your mother, to invest in tulips knowing that it was not a good deal at all. That,
It was Charles.
that he sabotaged your family. I went to try to make it right, to confront him, to confirm this, and he was in a rage. He told me that I couldn't say anything, or else it would all go bad. It was dangerous.
Charles said this. Charles was there. This was Charles.
Yes. He said that I could say nothing, or else it would go bad for everyone. I told him that I would not be threatened. I would not be made to be silent when my best friend's happiness was in the matter.
Oh, Heinrich,
And then
you're a fool.
that's when the shot rang out. And I saw his father standing over me with the pistol. And that's when I heard the father strike Charles with this pistol in the face, yell at him, and upbraid him for not being manly enough.
What a horrific man. I know all too well what it's like to have a father who's terrible, but not like that. Heinrich, please rest. You've told us so much, and you need to heal up. You still have to be my best man, you know.
Listen, I think this Charles is in trouble. This is father. But this father, this Kane Griffiths, he's a bad man.
I will do what I can. I'll see if we can protect Charles, and I will do what I can about Kane.
But be wary. He's a good shot. Although, if he were a better shot, I wouldn't have made it.
Yes,
Perhaps poor shooting runs in that family.
as we both know, I've been a better shot than
Indeed.
Charles, so.
Are you suggesting you would have managed to kill your friend?
Yes. You're lucky it wasn't me, Heinrich. Please heal up.
All right. Lady Ashby,
Yes, Sir Heinrich.
it will be my honor to be the best man at this wedding. And I will be overjoyed that my best friend can make you as happy as you make him.
You hear that, Florence? It's a dying man's last wish. I guess we'll have to go forward with the...
Edward. It's in poor taste, isn't it?
I'm not dying.
Yeah, perhaps a little.
I'm recovering. Wait,
You're not dying, Heinrich. Heinrich.
You're not dying, Heinrich. It was a very
He
bad
messed
joke,
up
my friend.
yesterday, and now he's trying to make up for it, and his jokes are bad.
I thought that maybe you knew something from the doctor I didn't know.
No,
not at all.
Only that
No.
your friend is sometimes a numpty.
Oh, it's true. Sometimes he is also. How do you say this? There's a saying we have in Germany, in Prussia, where I'm from. It's that sometimes our dear Edward has a burden ahead. He has a Vogelkopf. It's a saying we have up there.
Ja,
It's,
das ist richtig. Ja.
sometimes he has a bird in his head.
Edward, should we see a doctor about the bird in your head?
Sometimes he calls me Ed Bird.
Do
Heinrich, I feel we must leave you to rest before.
Yes, we must.
birds.
We must.
take care.
Don't worry, my friend.
As you leave, I think that is where we will draw our novel
Wait.
portion to a close.
Can I get a
yes.
monologue though?
Ooh, from
For Edward?
Yes. No, but no, not unless you don't.
You have
sing it.
to.
Yeah, no monologue unless you sing it.
Can we please get a monologue token for Edward Pembroke, please? I want a monologue token, monologue token, monologue token, please. I want a monologue token, monologue token, please.
That's a great one. I like
Yes.
it.
Oh, it's very snazzy.
Okay, so Murgles, you've spent your monologue token. Bonsai
Yeah.
spent hers, and Trooper spent yours. So Lexi's the only one with one left.
Okay. I've never been so happy as I am in this moment. It feels as if everything is going to be all right. My best friend is safe, and feels as though the dark nights with my father's shadow are completely gone. And the way I made Florence laugh there for a second, I believe we might be okay. However, I think the last thing that I need to do now is secure her family's fortune for her again. We must check on Charles. It's of the most importance that he is safe and that this scoundrel Kane cannot commit any other atrocities upon persons we care about. And while it will be a lot for me to swallow my pride and stick my neck out for Charles, well, I feel I am in a generous mood. So, I'll take this beautiful lady, who I love ever so dearly, and let's go save a friend. End scene.
So cute. Edward's almost happy.
Oh my god, we've never seen him so
Almost.
happy.
It's like the happiest he's ever been.
It's a little much, but I mean, we don't know.
As extreme as he is in sadness.
Yes.
So that brings us to reputation.
Oh my goodness.
Let us determine whether or not you think your character gained a positive or a negative reputation tag. Bonsai, that face.
I know what I got.
Yeah.
Was it all positive?
Yeah, so many positives. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Drug trade, table flipping,
Murder.
question mark?
Extortion.
Question mark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go with the negative tag. What do you think the negative tag is?
I
gonna make
feel
an
like I get 2 negative tags in this one.
You
No,
only
only
get
one.
one.
Oh, you only get one? Okay. I'm
Only one.
debating between
Even if you meet all
rageful,
3 criteria.
rageful, enraged, or I guess the tag came up Voldemort.
No, I just think.
Maybe conniving.
Ooh.
Conniving. Ooh. That one
Yeah.
might
A
work.
lot of it you kind of did out of manipulation of others for your own benefit.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Conniving. Very nice. All right. Anyone else gain a positive and or negative tag?
I feel, I feel perhaps, no, I don't know.
You're full up
don't
on
know.
positive tags. You gotta start using those for.
Yeah, you
I
do.
know.
You're full
good
of
stuff.
positive tags?
Yeah. Sure am.
So hard to be you, Edward.
Edward's good.
I think Florence is just even keel. She's just been kind of. No, oh god, I forgot. Okay, she lockpicked. She's getting a negative tag. I forgot. She stole from her mother's hair and then read her diary.
She's a bit of a snoop.
It's a bit of a
Snoop.
Snoop is a good one.
Snoop.
Yeah, Snoopy.
Snoop it is. Snoopy. I guess I'm gonna have to take Black Sheep.
Not
mean,
you.
I mean, here's the thing: you are not marriage material. Just because
Well,
someone
that's true.
doesn't want to, like,
That's
people
true.
know, and that's what the public
Yeah.
knows. Because bear in mind,
Yeah.
your engagement's not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not marriage
that kinda-
material to anybody but Edward.
Edward is also not marriage material, so I don't know what to tell
We
you.
haven't met Aaron.
Wow, what are you talking about? I'm all positives.
Two raccoons fall in love.
Oh.
That should not have made y'all all like that. Just compared us to trash creatures.
Yeah, that little
Oh, melting cotton candy into water.
yeah,
Together.
yeah, it's love.
And then they just roll together too.
Cuthbert, do you think you gained a positive or negative tag?
That's hard,
Rotting away
actually.
in prison.
I am. But I feel like I must have gotten a negative tag last. I did for being a potential murderer. Potential murderer. I think I'm actually even keeled, right? I think that.
Okay.
Because I think I'll get.
That speech though that you made to Charles,
Oh,
that could be a positive.
that would be a negative, is what that would be. Oh, totally. That speech is a negative reputation speech because it's all about following your desires rather than convention of society.
That is very true.
I'm just saying, that is a.
Maybe
you
we should just burn society to the ground though and start from the
Because that was a
beginning.
good speech, and society
It was a really good
sucks.
speech. Anything, yeah.
Society, more like bad society, am I right?
Am I right? Yeah. But then I also was upbraiding him for being dishonorable, so it feels very mixed baggy. Although.
I'm
Although-
gonna say it. I felt like you were the good guy here.
Yeah,
once
but
in
would
your life.
society think I'm the good guy here is the
maybe
question.
maybe it's a wash. Maybe
Yeah.
it's a wash.
You know, but I could take a negative tag. I could take it. I could take the negative tag for anti-establishment.
Yeah.
Or what's the word? What's the word when you are when like you're not the word's not dismissive? I need my English majors here. You know when you sneer at that thing when you're like, oh, I don't care about your things, you know.
You're belittling?
Yeah, like you're because like I'm belittling these people's whole structure, right? Like there's like a whole kind of a
Disdainful.
disdainful. Thank you.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
Murgles, that is exactly the word that I was looking for.
It wasn't my word, but I didn't. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Thank
Thanks.
you, Table Story.
Thank you, Table Story. Disdainful, because I feel like that entire speech, which seemed on one hand positive for the society for whom everything is around you have to sort of fit within your structure, right? That would be, I think that would be disdainful. I will take it. I will take that negative tag.
It's a good one. Okay. All right. I think that's everyone's reputation. Rumors and scandals. Are we ready? Are we ready?
I've never been more ready in my whole life.
Spread
So good.
some rumors. All right, I'm gonna go through anything that has not been spread. I will be marking as fading, although I'm not sure there is any.
While you're doing
There's
that, I'm
only
just gonna,
one, which is that someone poisoned Victoria
yeah.
Ashby. So it's the only one that will go away if we don't spread it.
By the way, I just want to let chat know that I currently have 4 negative tags, and I cannot get rid of my negative reputation statuses until I get down to 2. And my current negative reputation fracture is that Gregory will not talk to me. I cannot get back together with my love while this is happening. I just want you all to know, if you want the
Gotta
happy
make some bad
ending.
stuff happen to you, so.
Yeah, I'm just saying. That's how this works.
Who's happy ending? Anyway, who has a rumor they would like to start? Or there is one that can still be spread?
Can I
I
steal
would
one
like to
from
start
chat?
a rumor. Oh.
Can I steal one from
Yes.
chat, please? Missile Monkey has a rumor. William is Florence's actual father, and
That's really great.
I just think that's great. I love that. Missile Monkey, that's the best rumor ever, and I just want to put it out there.
William's my real dad?
Maybe? I just think that's a super exciting rumor. I love it, Missile Monkey. That's brilliant.
Would I be a viscountess if my
No.
mom died then? I would just be a scum. Is that what's
You'd be
happening here?
illegitimate.
Yeah,
You'd be
you're illegitimate, and that's pretty variable. Sometimes they let you inherit some stuff. They can still leave inheritance to you.
Yep. But titles,
Probably a title
Yeah,
is a little risky.
yeah.
You would retain the silverware that William worked so hard to
honestly-
polish.
Honestly, for you, you'd probably be fine because you would marry into something.
Yeah, yeah.
I was about to say my
But whoever
dad's
you
dead,
married
so he
would get
can't
it.
be like, oh, the scandal. My dad's like, I didn't see it. I was dead.
Yeah, but it's interesting, right? Because you're also the eldest, so that means, you know, she had you, and then maybe a very quick marriage.
If it's true, I mean, it's just a rumor right now. We don't know.
It's just a
Wow.
rumor. It's just a rumor.
Maybe
Anyway,
she's been in love
anyone
with
else
William
have a rumor?
forever.
I'm
I
just
have
gonna
a
go
rumor.
ahead on
Tearaway.
my turn and just spread that rumor. And then go ahead, Murgles.
I was just gonna say, my rumor was that Cuthbert is innocent of everything.
Oh.
That Cuthbert has been taken to the police, but that he is innocent. He's been wrongfully taken to the police.
Oh.
Defending Gregory's honor.
Ooh.
All right, anyone else? Start a rumor, spread a rumor.
I will start a rumor.
Okay.
That the it's an old rumor that, has been spread around, is that the Viscounts got their name and title first being pirates or swashbucklers.
Oh, that is genuinely a thing that happened a lot in England.
Yes.
Okay.
And there's
We got our title by being pirates?
working for the Queen against the
Basically,
Spanish.
You were pirates, but also you were like
Good at it?
It was such a weird, very British thing that happened.
Really good at
like,
being
a
pirates.
lot.
No wonder I know how to lockpick.
Hey.
It's like
that they got
officially
from-
sanctioned pirates, privateers.
All right, I'm spreading it. I would like to spread it.
All right, it's just sordid.
I was literally just before you said that, I
privateers.
was gonna say something like, "Oh, Edward loves that. Edward would love that if you were." And then you said that, and now I
me
can't
just-
say that.
Spread my rumors for you.
Privateers. That's what they're saying. Jetson. Privateers.
Barrett's Privateers.
All right.
Any Stan Rogers fans in here? Sorry.
All right, so I've gone, Luxie's gone, Bonsai's gone,
Everybody's gone.
Trooper's
It's
gone,
Luxie,
Murgles. Yeah. All right,
right?
Luxie, you get to go again.
Because Murgles, you went, yeah?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So
Go
Luxie, you can
backwards.
either create or spread.
I would like to spread a rumor that Gregory is back in town.
Oh.
I would like to second that rumor because it's my
You're
turn,
gonna
right?
spread it? Yep.
Yes.
I think so, yeah. Maybe it's Murgles.
Oh, is it?
Whatever.
I'm sorry.
Murgles?
Maybe. I would
Yeah,
like
it's
to spread
Murgles.
that rumor that Gregory
Okay.
is back in town.
Okay.
All right. Bonsai? There is still Cuthbert being innocent. There's still someone poisoned Lady Victoria Ashby
Yeah.
to be spread. Or you can start a new rumor.
Poisoned.
You want to spread the
Poison.
poisoned? Okay.
Poison's
Poison.
great. Love it.
I guess that's my turn
Yeah,
then.
it is your turn.
Ooh, I think I want to spread another rumor. And, I want to spread the rumor that. Ooh, I'm not really sure what rumor I want to spread. Trooper, did you have something you wanted to do?
I want to spread a rumor about. Well, our traveling show's out of town. We've got all that. We've got some dead
Well, they're
people.
packing up now.
They're
so
packing
they're,
up,
They're
right.
probably gone by the time we're done with the letters.
Right. I would like to spread. We don't have it in here, right? Yes. I would like to spread that Millie and Charles have gotten engaged. They got engaged after
We
that
had
whole...
that previously.
Did we?
But that's
we,
fine. We can
oh,
put it back
no.
on. It's
No, they were
not- it's been
speaking about...
crossed
No,
off.
no, wait.
Yeah.
Okay, wait.
No,
give
they
me-
are engaged.
Yeah, no, I want a better one then. I want one that's I want so much Millie is what is in my life. Like oh, okay.
I have one.
Go ahead, you go.
Charles is going to challenge his father to a duel.
Yeah, I love it. Over something mysterious.
Yeah, over something mysterious. We don't know what.
Okay, my rumor is Millie has uncovered scandalous evidence about something in our good society, and basically everybody in town wants to know what it is. That like Millie has the goods. Like there's a lot been going on in town, and rumor has it that she has gotten some really good evidence, some really good dirt, but we don't know what it is.
Nice. Very nice. Okay. Well, we've got a bunch of rumors on there. We got some scandal, which brings us to the epistolary, the letter writing. Does anyone have a letter they would like to write? or to receive? Florence, or Millie, or someone else?
Florence. I love that it was just like, or Millie, or someone else. I think Florence would like to write a letter to Cuthbert in prison now that she's actually got something to write about, not just like the terrible biscuits.
Well, they were very terrible.
They were really bad. I understand, honey. It's okay. Really bad biscuits. Dear Cuthbert, so sorry to hear about the Lord. Disagreeable that they would do such a terrible thing in a biscuit. What were they thinking? I have news. Afraid to put on paper.
Oh.
The garden is filled with secrets. Sounds far more scandalous than I thought it was going to. The garden is filled with secrets, and the Griffiths are worse than we could have ever imagined. Please stay as safe as possible. Your loving sister, Florence.
I need new rumors about death. May I write a letter? Well, like, threatenings. This letter I'm going to sort of spirit out of the Hoosgow quite dramatically. And it will be a letter that is like multiple pages. It's like a 30-page letter to his sister. And it's like 30 pages of like the most boring, inane stuff ever. Like, and as you're reading it, it's like, my dearest sister, page 1. As I sit in prison, I wished do you remember when we were 3 years old, and I was 3 and you were 4, and it's just like this like long, rambling thing that if anybody wanted to, people would probably get bored by like letter 5 if they were, I don't know, going to sort of oversee what might be in this letter. Mm-hmm. But like, page 13, 14, 15 are the papers that Charles gave to Cuthbert. The blackmail papers, the extortion papers. They are the extortion papers, and I send the extortion papers to my sister, camouflaged within pages and pages of like, and then the flowers were so lovely in the spring, and I always thought that the hydrangeas were, and like it's just like on, and like in there are these 3 pages, and then it's like, my dearest sister, I'm being extorted by Charles. Might this be evidence in our favor? Could this paperwork be used, perhaps? I would never, ever sell you to that man for any fortune that we might have. Please know that, because I love you always, your brother. And then it goes on like, and then of course, on the 5th of May, I feel like we might want to make a tea. And it goes on and on about like, just like the most mundane sorts of like, estate affairs.
Very nice. Very nice.
Hey.
Florence, do you actually read the whole thing?
I think that Florence is like reading the first few pages and she's like frustrated and she's like starts flipping. She's like, what's happening here? And then like the pages are like all of a sudden not my brother's handwriting, and I'm stop and I'm like, oh, and then read those, and I get to them. They are not thrown in the trash. I mean, after they are read, they are hidden, but she does unfortunately read too much of that letter. But not the last few pages. She decides they're not important for some reason. Can't imagine why, Cuthbert.
But I will note that the things that he's saying are a little bit so ridiculous that as his sister, like some of the things he said, remember when we were young, like didn't actually happen, and so like they're like within the first couple pages, like, well, that's weird.
When our pinky promise a rinkety dinkety shoe. Like a few words off.
Yes, there was. Yeah. So like, there are like these kind of like weird things in the first couple of pages where I'm telling you all this stuff that you're like, well, that didn't happen. We never went to Bath
this is
in
not
the
my
spring.
brother. It's happening. They replaced him.
I love it. I
Perfect.
love your very
you.
strange method of being
Clandestine.
I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. Clandestine.
And then clearly I started having fun with it, and so then it's just like ridiculousness for
There's
humorous.
poetry.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Any other letters? Bonsai? Yeah.
Charles will be sending a letter, Millie.
Yes! This is all I want in my life, is just more Millie.
Ready? My dearest Millie, I no longer know what to do anymore. You are truly the only person who has ever understood me, or understood me. With this letter comes 2 chests of my most precious things to me, and I want you to have them. Please do not write back. I will make things right. Charles.
What's in the chest?
Am I allowed to open the chest?
You can open the chest.
What's in the box?
Can you describe what Millie is picking up out of the box?
Various different makeup, jewelry, dresses, and a brief diary.
Well, Millie's a gossip, so she's gonna read that. Would you care to maybe enlighten us on what she's gonna read there? Maybe a little, just a little tidbit, just like what, one day, maybe.
One day. I find that I do like the jasmine perfume. I feel like it goes best with my natural smells. Also, lavender accents my eyes very well. I've gotten my inspiration. Millie's outfits have always been quite nice. And I've asked the tailor to copy her most latest dress. Oh no! Oh no!
Millie is not crying.
It's basically journal logs of things that made him feel pretty. Charles as Charlotte, and it is written as Charlotte today. Charlotte, I Charlotte.
Does Charlotte have different penmanship than Charles?
Yes. Purposely different penmanship. If you look at the 2 letters, one has more curly
Swirl
bits.
and yeah. Oh no. Okay. Anyone else have a letter?
No.
Edward, you will receive a letter.
Oh, okay.
It's from your mother.
Oh, good.
Dearest Edward, I hope this letter finds you well. In preparing for my trip to the country, to Mayford, as you remember, the doctor suggested I take some time out of the city for my health. I learned some quite alarming news that has reached us here in London. It is about the passing of your father. Like, you probably see, like, my, and she's about to write husband, and it's just crossed out, and it just says, of your father. It seems he perished in a duel with a Viscount, there's a question mark, Cuthbert Ashby. Perhaps you can tell me more about the events that led up to such an untimely end. Your mother, Eleanor Pembroke. P.S. It seems like it might be a bad time for me to come and visit. Question mark.
Or the best time.
Okay. Alright, back. Dearest mother, I am ever so sorry that this news received you in London before I could write you. It is quite a frightful and lengthy story, which I will be sure to tell you all about once you arrive and visit, for your visit. Please do still consider coming. The estate looks quite lovely now, this time of year. Also, I have someone that I'd very much like you to meet. Love always, Edward.
Ooh. All right, well, I guess she's gonna come visit. I think that's,
Can I write one more
that's
letter?
everything. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
But I have to write it with Luxie. We have to write it together.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know where my scarf is, so here we are, roughing it.
Yes.
Pretend I'm a man.
Well, you're the man. So, I mean, you know.
And I'm the man.
Yeah. We are the detectives. Hoffer and Maple. And I'm Maple, and you're Hoffer. And we should be writing.
Darling.
Oh, it's all right. I feel like we should be writing to Florence Ashby, since she did ask after all.
Yes. What would you like to include
Also-
this time?
At some point supposed to write, like, aren't you investigating a murder as well? Or did you entirely forget
No,
about
we
that?
are. We are. Then let's write to the Edward, shall we? darling?
Dear, I did, in my findings, since we are such incredible detectives, see that
We are.
Edward is staying with Florence.
Oh. How
So why don't we
convenient.
just write them a joint letter?
Oh, we should also bill them twice, though. I like
That's an
it.
incredible idea, darling. Yes,
Oh.
let's bill them. Let's bill them twice.
Lovey, you're the best. So, here's what I'm thinking. We should.
Yes.
We should. I'll do my penmanship. We should
Yes,
write
please.
about. We should write about the witness. The witness statement we have about the shooting.
Yes, about the shooting from behind the building with the large
Yes,
man.
the inn. Well, and it turns out, of course, since we were able to question people, we did get a witness statement from someone who was leaving the inn at the time and saw the whole thing.
It's an
We should tell
incredible
them we-
statement.
And it was
Yes.
a lovely statement. You did such a good job, Lovely, of questioning the young man who came out of the inn.
Well, when we
Yes.
found the gunpowder pointing in that exact direction, what else were we supposed to do,
Oh,
darling?
it's true. I love it when you question people. So I think we should let them know we have this statement. That'll be good, don't you think?
Yes, perfect.
And I think we should also tell them about this Robert fellow. This Robert Harrison.
Yes, untimely, isn't it?
It is. I think we should tell them. It's quite distressing. How do you think we should break it to them?
With an extra flourish. Perhaps don't attach a bill to this one if we are going to have to write such dreadful news, darling.
Oh, I suppose. But we should tell them that we have convinced this Greg McDermott to come back.
That's very true. How about we tell them about Gregory first and then let them down after?
Or we tell them about the Robert Harrison first, finish with the Gregory, and then ask for more money.
Incredible. Oh, we are married
Lovely.
for a reason.
We
Married
are,
for a
we
reason.
are.
Yes. All right, go ahead, darling.
Dear Lady Ashby, do you like it?
Beautiful, beautiful.
We have...
Wait, add in Edward. Lady Ashby and Edward Pembroke,
yes.
darling. It's a joint letter.
Yes, of course. And Mr. Edward Pembroke.
Beautiful.
We hope that the day is finding you well, etc., etc.
Yes, etc.
Weather.
Yes, dreadful rainy.
Just professional detective at your service. Much work, lots of footwork, lots of
Yes.
questioning, extra days.
Exhausted, yes.
Exhaustive, extra days' work worth of payments. We have enclosed witness statements about the attack.
Perfect.
Yes, we are happy to say that we have two witness statements proving that Kane Griffiths was the attacker on that night. It's good. Oh, and that also this Charles Griffiths was also a witness, but we were not able to speak with him.
Yes, ran off like a baby, that one.
Yes, oh, he did. Should I say ran off like a baby, dear?
No. I think the witness statements do, they let on something to that extent.
Oh, they do. And then, of the two gentlemen we were meant to bring back, we were successful in bringing back Gregor McDermott. Oh, no, that comes last. Unfortunately, Robert Harrison had an untimely end in a carriage accident.
Yes.
However, good news, that the Gregor McDermott was convinced to return and should be arriving in Mayford shortly if he is not already there.
Yes, should we tell them about how Robert Harrison died in the carriage, or should we just leave that up to their imaginations? Perhaps let them die thinking he was doing his very best. Definitely not driving the carriage off recklessly towards the bridge with Gregory in tow. He would never do that.
Yes. No. Should we mention about the heroic trying to save part?
No, just let them think about it themselves.
Yes, I suppose the heroic trying to save is just too much detail. They don't need to know.
Too much, very much, yeah. We don't want the letter to be too long.
Oh, yes. We don't. An extra page is an extra bit of money we'd have to pay for another sheet of paper.
True,
So they don't need to know about that. Lovey. Yours always.
Wait. Did you tell them about Gregory?
Oh, yes, I did. I finished with that.
All right, good.
Yes.
Perfect. And then the
Yours
bill.
always? Oh, yes, and the bill. 2 bills.
Yes, 2 bills.
Hoffer and Maple.
Beautiful. And the stamp, darling.
Oh, yes. Oh.
Beautiful. Thank you very much.
I need to.
Where do you think we should go next?
To
Mallorca?
bring my players in, because that's where we're gonna take a break. We'll be right back.
How far would you go to discover? What risks would you take to understand? The unknown is forbidden. There's so much more to discover before the world ends. The unknown awaits.
Why, hello there, everybody. Welcome back to the second half of Estate of Affairs. I'm just gonna have us jump, right into the next novel phase. We probably won't get to Letters of Reputation this time. That's okay. These sorts of things tend to have a tendency of getting longer and longer and longer as the game progresses. And that's okay. That's okay. So, we left off with many letters being passed back and forth. And there's been a lot of revelations. So what do people want to get done? What is everybody's sort of thing that they are doing next?
I want to see Florence do stuff.
Yeah, I feel like Florence and
all sorts of
Edward
stuff.
kind of have a lot of stuff going on, given what they've recently learned.
But I also really would like to see more Charles, because I feel that we've seen a little bit of Charles, but some I especially after that letter that we just heard, I would like to know what's up with Charles.
I think if I know Bonsai, she has some ideas for later in the episode.
Okay.
Possibly the end.
Okay.
I think we're gonna have a dramatic ending later. Thank you.
I don't know what you're talking about. We definitely didn't ask for a cliffhanger at all.
I mean, I would like to ensure Lady Florence's hand once again, so. If we're being forward.
I just, they're just letters to be found, is all I'm saying. And I'm just so excited for all the
That's
letters.
true. You still, so, question for you, Trooper. Do you think William has found the paperwork?
Oh, I was thinking about the letter that absolves, that sort of clears Edward's reputation, is what I was thinking about.
Well, there's also that letter. That's true. That I don't think Florence has literally done anything with.
No, she hasn't read it yet.
About. She hasn't even read it.
She doesn't know what it is even.
I was looking for treasure and I was touching my ex-fiance's hand on the porch and his forearm was out. So give me a break here.
Wait, I'm sorry.
And then you were, in fairness, seeing how his friend who had been shot, and then discovering that, there's a lot. There's a lot.
He touched his forearm? That's really scandalous.
It's a nice forearm, too. I would just like to make sure everyone knows that.
Could you horse ride?
Well,
Very scandalous forearm.
I do ride.
Do you ride up or do you ride down? Sorry. Anyway, I want to know what's
It depends on where our standing is right now.
right.
quite
He
honestly.
thought he was riding up, but now he might
Really,
be
he's
riding down.
If it's true, we don't know.
Nice.
So, but question for you then, Trooper. Do you think William has uncovered the paperwork?
Here's the problem. If I say yes, then I need to be able to sabotage it in some sort of dramatic way.
Well, you have a lot of. Here's the question: how badly do you want to get rid of Fractured? Because you need to start cashing in some negative resolve tokens. There, some negative tags.
This is true.
Because we've heard rumor that someone's coming to town.
Yes, we have heard that rumor. You make things hard for me. I do. Yeah, you do. I think it's fine if he finds the letters, but I've got to find some. I'll find some way to ruin it.
Okay. Well, so questions for you, because Bonsai, when I asked you to say would Victoria Ashby have signed the paperwork that was sent to reinstate Cuthbert, you said she would have.
Yes.
So, would she have put any conditions on it? Is there anything that she may have not signed? Was it to reinstate him as a lord, or just to add him back into the will?
Well, she
Or
would,
you know.
there was no will to give, so I don't think she just wanted to make sure he had the name at the very least.
Okay.
Okay, how about
all right, I have an idea.
he finds it, but he doesn't want to
Well,
give it
no,
up?
this would be bad for Florence, not for Cuthbert. But we have this little rumor floating around.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I have a way to make it bad for Cuthbert instead.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
But that won't get one of my tags, I bet.
Well, I don't know. Your tags are a little bit specific, but we could. Let's think about this. Let's ponder on this.
Okay, we'll ponder it. Flo?
Hello?
Flo.
Hello?
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm being made fun of. Yes, I'm so sorry. Hi, I'm here. It's not my actual name, so it's like,
Oh, sorry.
Florence.
yes.
I
Wait,
wanna know
are you
what you're up
asking?
to. I want to know what you're up to while I ponder my letter.
The last thing I heard, I was about
What
to
are
take
you
a
and Ed? I
condition.
think what are you and Edward up to?
I think that we're probably looking for the paperwork because I doubt Williams found it because he's probably just like, actually when we leave the house, he's just like kissing my mom's hand while she's unconscious. Nobody's around.
Weren't we looking for the stuff in the garden?
Well,
Yeah, you've
because
got a lot of stuff that you're looking
we
for.
have
so
treasure
what
and paperwork to find, so I think that if we gotta get back to the house and decide which one's more important.
Yeah, you also received the information from your brother, you know, about the letter that he gave you as well. Like, you've got a lot of stuff to process. So what
Any of the letters from the detectives?
do that? You get the letters from the detectives in which you find out that Robert's dead.
Yeah.
So
But also you
big
have
day.
now hard evidence about Kane Griffiths.
yeah. So perhaps we open up on a scene in which Florence, you're seated at the table just with all of these like various letters in front of you.
Yeah, all of Cuthbert's, and then I also have to look through the detective letter. Wait, okay, Edward, quick, now's your chance to re-propose before I have to read this very depressing thing. So, you got one
okay.
chance.
Okay.
No, read my letter first. Not read the letter that the Richard Edward's father's letter.
Yes, the Cuthbert letter. Yeah.
Yeah.
With the secrets. I read that one.
No. When
one
Cuthbert was
that-
dragged away to be present, he gave you a letter and he said,
Oh, the
"Keep
pocket
this."
letter. Okay,
Yeah.
you want me to read it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll while I'm sifting through all your stuff, I forget it's in there and it falls onto the table.
And it has Edward's father's handwriting on it.
All right, Edward, take a seat. I've got to read a letter to you.
Okay.
I'm gonna read a letter to you as Flo, but the words coming out of my mouth will be Cuthbert's because I don't know exactly what.
No,
he
they'll
had.
be Tuesdays.
No, they'll be mine.
Yes.
So here's my question: what did he write in the letter that would like have forgiven? And I feel like this might be a group decision. What could he have written that would have basically restored Edward's the Pembroke name?
I am a vile monster, and my son is better than me, and I give him all of the
unfortunately-
money.
While it is true, that wouldn't have
won't
fixed the
help.
problem.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, you're right.
Maybe that there was already divorce paperwork. That
Oh, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
he had in fact been annulled? That the marriage
Yeah, there has
had
been
been
annulled.
annulled, and okay, so
And also, how about that the real scion of this space, the estate actually belonged to the mother.
yeah,
Right,
yeah.
that-
Okay, so
Dad
we
moved
get the letter as you open it. It says, "My dear son, Edward my dear Edward, in the event of my untimely demise, I wish to inform you of some pertinent information related to the Pembroke estate, to your estate. The first being that the estate was and still remains the property of your mother, Miss Eleanor Pembroke. It was not originally the Pembroke estate. If you will find enclosed the original papers indicating that this estate belonged to her family before our marriage. The second...
Oh, and also he can't be annulled because then Edward would be illegitimate. So the marriage has to go through, right? Because
No, you could annul the marriage later.
after the fact, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think it'd be fine. I don't care about his stuff.
Yeah.
Perhaps a divorce. I don't know what would have been better, but I think.
magic legal hand waving.
No,
fine.
it
And then,
could have
yes,
been a
a
divorce
magic
on his
dragon.
fault. It could have been like a divorce on his fault, making her seem blameless.
Yeah, because he
That's
was
true.
the
Yeah, divorce is very
adulteress.
strange.
Yep.
If he was the adulteress
And-
and she was good,
Yeah.
then
You
he
will
would
also
get...
find enclosed the signed and noted, whatever, annotated.
Notarized.
The thing, notarized, thank you, paperwork. He scribbles out like 5 different words. The notarized paperwork indicating a divorce that is my fault as an adulterer, leaving Miss Eleanor Pembroke, the inheritor of the name, the estate, well, and you, the inheritor of the estate. I will not be seeing you again. Yours, Richard Pembroke. And then it's crossed out, and I think it just says yours, Richard, when the last name's crossed out.
Oh, my dear lord. Florence.
Yes.
Florence.
Yes. Oh no,
good
has
news.
Heinrich been shot again?
No, my father has given me everything. My father has given me everything. He gave me...
Father's given you something. The least giving
Yes.
man of all time is giving you something.
My name is... We're safe. No matter what happens with you, I can take care of you now. I can make sure that you have a good life.
May I ask what could possibly be in that letter that would change?
Florence Ashby, will you marry me?
What? Okay, it must be a
Henrietta
very
Walsh
good
is in-
letter,
is-
Edward.
Is in the room as like your chaperone and just like, woo! Like squeals in the corner.
Yes, I will again, but you have to tell me. What has he said, Edward?
He's gone forever. He's left us the papers which say that my mother, in fact, owns the estate, and that my mother and I own the estate, and that he was an adulterer, and it was all his fault. And he has left, and he's given us everything, and that means that my name has been restored effectively, and my mother can come back, and the estate is mine, and I can take care of you. And will you marry me? Sorry, I didn't hear you. Yes?
Edward, I said yes. You have to promise not to do that thing again where you go off to duel someone and you break up with me.
Oh, I doubt I'll hate anyone as much as I hated my father. And of course, I doubt I'll ever hate anyone as much as I love you. So we should be good.
Then yes, Edward.
I'm ever so glad. Okay. Well,
Edward,
let's...
I hate to
Yes.
put a damper on us getting re-engaged. Do you think we could try to possibly break my brother out of prison somehow? Maybe like find those
Absolutely.
papers. Yeah.
Certainly, yes. Of course.
Perfect. I got a letter from the detectives, but I think that perhaps maybe we should find my brother's things first and get to that later.
Okay. Whatever you say.
Yeah. I mean,
We
the
just
detectives can wait.
cut to Juliana sitting there being like, I wonder what happened. Perhaps Florence will write to me soon. I hope my dearest Robert is all right. Perhaps I was a bit too rash in thinking that something untoward had happened between him and the groundskeeper from the Pembroke estate. No, he's always been true to me.
Oh, Juliana.
Back soon.
This is what you get, Juliana, for being that you're gonna die an old maid. Called karma.
We just cut back to the two of you.
I like to think we're in like our big, like exceedingly large library with books that none of us have ever seen before. Just like
Yeah.
filing, like there's a bunch of books that Williams laid out. I mean, my father.
Yeah.
I mean, what? That Williams laid out. What? Oh, did somebody? And we're just like flipping through them furiously.
So, I was. Okay, so I did have an idea. If we want to maybe find some paperwork, and this might only get rid of like one of your negative reputation tags, but I was thinking it could get rid of wastrel.
Perchance.
Perhaps. A possible murderer might be a bit tough to get rid of, just as a heads up.
Well, if I get reinstated, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, you know, with some conditions or something.
Yeah.
But I was sort of thinking that you go about digging around the house, and perhaps you go into your father's old study. You wouldn't have thought that your mother would have stored the paperwork there, but you've kind of looked everywhere else, and so you go into this room that probably, in some ways, looks like it hasn't been touched ever before. You know, it's almost left like the way it was when he died, which it was probably a few years ago, but not like an incredibly long time ago. And you begin digging through, and I think you find probably on the desk the paperwork that your mother had signed, but you also. You, Florence, are quite a bit of a snoop as well.
We've heard that.
So I'm just using that fact to suggest that maybe you keep looking and you find some information about Cuthbert's parentage as well. That would indicate... You sort of find some evidence that indicates... Because perhaps you didn't know this, that his... Oh, no, wait. This is your date of birth. You're the eldest, right?
Yep, I find out about myself.
I think you find out that your mother got married like 8 months before you were born instead of 9.
The math's just a wee bit off.
Yes. But then I also think that you also find out that maybe Cuthbert also... Like, the two of you are not half-siblings.
We're full siblings.
You're full siblings, but you're both two
We're fully
illegitimate
not
full siblings.
our fathers.
Oh, this is what you can find.
Yes.
Medical documents about, because it's a father study, right?
Yeah.
Medical documents on the father showing that he could not father children.
Yes. That's
Perfect.
exactly what you find.
Right? So he's
And I
the
feel like for
Viscount.
both of you, this will get rid of a negative reputation tag.
Perfect.
I think because you are now both. He was the Viscount, and you have discovered that you are both illegitimate children of you don't know who, but your mother and not your father.
I would like to use... is it possible for me to get rid of one of my tokens, my positive tags? My positive tag tokens.
Yes. What do you want to have happen?
I would like to be chivalrous and promptly burn all of this information.
Oh!
If
Let's maybe
If we
play this
agree.
out a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's play this out a little bit. So
Okay.
Florence, you are snooping around.
He had some sort of accident that left him unable to father children.
Terrible horseback riding accident.
So first you find the paperwork you were looking for, and then
Strange, really. We didn't have to look very hard at all. It was right, Edward, it was right on my father's desk.
oh, perfect.
Yes, so that's...
Why did you keep looking then for so much longer?
Oh, well, when I read my mother's diary earlier, I found out so much, and then I figured, look at all this knowledge. Edward, don't look at me like that, darling. I had to know, so I found this, and it says do not open, and I'm scared to read it. Will you read it? I've heard so much terrible.
Yes, of course. All right. What could it possibly be?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, he's dead, so maybe it's just like he was
Yes.
thinking.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Let me just take a quick read.
Yes.
it's from Dr. Bridge Cumberwood.
Yes, it is.
Oh, it must be about his ill health before he's perished. Right,
No, it's
darling?
dated
yes.
very early on. In fact, almost 23 years ago.
Oh, maybe he's been sick
to
a
the-
rather
to
long
the
time. Edward. Maybe he's been sick a rather
Perhaps.
Dearest Lord Ashby, I regret to inform you that you indeed have a terrible case of syphilis. That diagnosis does tend to mean recovery is possible, but it is unlikely that you will be able to father your own children. I am so sorry to tell this news to you, but you know that's what happens when you spend your time abroad. Yours, Dr. Bridge Copperwood.
darling.
Okay, Florence.
Yes?
Darling, yes.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful, charming, lovely Florence. Could you sit down for a moment, actually?
Yes, actually, I'm a
Just
bit
take
tired.
get very comfortable, yes.
My father's chair's so comfortable.
Yes. Ooh. Well, okay, so what I'm reading here, if you please permit me for a moment, is that your father could not have children and you are probably not his. Is what this says, this document.
Sorry.
It's from
I was,
Dr.
I was zoning
Cumberwood
out.
Bridge.
The fire was so beautiful.
Bridge
I'm sorry,
Cumberwood.
what was it? Would you?
It's
What?
It appears your father had syphilis and was unable to bear children. And this is dated before you were born, so one can only assume that in fact you do not.
Doctor must have been. Just look at me. Here I am.
Yes. Darling, have you considered that perhaps William?
Oh no, Edward.
Yes, it's very unfortunate. Darling, shall I?
It would be a very appropriate time, I think, for me to yell Edward, but I don't think that I shall.
Yes. So I'll burn this then.
Oh,
Shall I burn this? Shall I burn this possibly terrible information that would lead to you losing your entire estate and name and
I'm not
all that
saying
stuff? Listen,
the
it doesn't
fire
matter
is
to
burning
me.
So hot right behind you, and that you could trip.
Do you want to grab some logs? We can grab some logs.
Yes. Oh, there's a good log right next to the fire, dear. Why don't you just throw the log on the
Yes,
fire?
of course.
What the hell?
Yes, I'll just.
Darling.
Oh, both of my hands. Okay. Oh, it's a very heavy log. I need both of them. Yes. Oh,
Yes.
wow. Okay.
Right.
Boom, and I chuck it. I chuck it into the fire.
Oh, darling, the paperwork.
Oh no! Oh my!
darling.
What an oopsie I've committed!
Oopsie. Wow.
Oh my!
Butterfingers.
So anyway, both Cuthbert and Florence go ahead and gain a resolve token and lose one of your negative tags. I think Florence, you already took off Snoop.
I'll take off my
and
waist
then
roll.
you get the resolve token in exchange for becoming illegitimate offspring of your father. What a terrible case of syphilis.
Well, you know, it
And I
must have
have
been
lost
difficult.
chivalrous.
It ravaged his genitals.
And I imagine it was
wow.
probably not great for him either. Like, he's like a lord, but he cannot have
That
offspring,
actually
so...
might be why he
What happened?
died as well, because syphilis can
Yeah.
have very long
Yep.
long-term
Yeah.
attacks as well. Very tragic, very tragic.
And like-
You do
Well, when you're
still get
That's what you get when you travel. So
Yeah, so...
I mean, he needed
travelers.
heirs, just saying.
Right, like, he needed heirs, and he could not get them.
is that what Mother is dying of right now? Syphilis?
I imagine they never had sex with each other ever, those two.
Yeah, not
That's
once.
what I think.
Looked and she was like,
Florence, I think maybe that's the moment you realize your parents have slept in separate bedrooms the entire your
I have like a
entire
pop-up
life.
brain where I'm like, oh, strange. Makes so much sense. Just wipe that away.
Oh wow. Yeah, very, very tragic. Very
I think that
tragic.
we should probably, deliver the paperwork to the jail for Cuthbert. I know you want to stay in jail so bad, honey. So should I hold on
That's
to it?
fine.
We could
No,
go
it's
treasure
fine.
hunting. I could go.
Yeah, we've got
could
so
just
much to
be-
do.
So distracted by my father's, not my father's information that
You're someone's.
You also, so you just got this information. You read the letter by Edward, that's great. You haven't read the letter from the detectives.
nope, don't like them.
And you haven't done anything about the fact that you're in debt and that Charles was going to marry you to cancel those debts.
In a
Right?
blackmailing, extortion sort of way.
Yeah.
I was also just thinking that perhaps maybe my mother intended for me to find this out because now my father's favorite place is no longer where I thought it was because
Oh.
I have a different father now, so
Sweet.
I have to ask William some questions.
Are you gonna have you told me about the extortion papers?
Oh, you should-
Oh, I assumed that you were there with the extortion papers.
Okay.
I assumed you were sitting there and I was like, oh no. Extortion.
Listen. Oh no, extortion. Listen, darling, I do believe, I believe your brother should be okay for a little bit longer.
Yes.
However, we cannot
I
bring
don't
him
know,
home without
Edward,
fully solving this issue of Charles and the extortion and the money and the debt and all of this. You know, it's a real mess. And as a person who used to be in a mess and who is now very much not in a mess, I feel quite good about myself. I want to solve this problem.
Honey, like you're bragging just a tad right now.
Listen, it's been a long time coming, as you can imagine. So, what shall we do about this? Shall we go talk to Charles?
Well,
Will you join me in this adventure to talk to Charles?
of course I will. I'm just a little worried we may get shot. I don't trust Charles's family. Is there a way we can arrange to meet with Charles in a place where we could not get shot? Perhaps somewhere very public and surrounded by people that would know if we were shot. Like,
Yes,
no.
okay, all right. I believe we could invite him here.
No, well, okay. Yes. Fine. Yes. There is. Yes, that's fine. Yes.
You could invite
Not
him here
allowed
under
to
the
bring a
guise of
plus
saying
one.
no to his engagement request. You haven't formally answered him.
Oh. We shall lure him here.
Yes.
Terrific. I will write a letter immediately and have William send it over.
Okay.
Just says like, dear
You can go to him and say, Papa, can you please send me a letter?
Edward, not yet, too soon.
I'm sorry, it was a small, it was a very small joke. Listen, I had to get it out.
All right, dear Charles, I've been thinking about the question you've asked. Would love to discuss it further at my humble estate. Yours always. Florence, does that sound...
That always is a
No,
bit
I-
forward, but yes, I believe it's right for the occasion as long as you don't mean it.
Edward, of course not. It's Charles. I'm just gonna stamp it and toss it on William's like ladder where he takes his letters. Have him send it over to Charles.
This is a really good relationship with your dad. You're like, Dad.
Just a sign that says place letters here. I'll get to them eventually or something.
Here you go, William. I mean, Papa.
What?
Oh, bring me a tea.
Haha! I said haha.
Oh. You and your father never mind. And delivers the letter to Charles's estate. Or goes to deliver it. All right. Are you two going to do anything else now that before Charles gets the letter and does the invitation?
I think that I would like to ask William if he has a favorite part of the estate. William, I was just thinking about how grand the estate was.
Yes.
You love the estate, don't you, William?
Yes. I've
Practically
been here
raised
my
me
whole
here, you
life.
could say. Yes.
I did. Yes.
William, do you have a favorite part of the house? I was just thinking about how much I adore the veranda. I know the garden is a particular favorite of yours.
Quite proud of the roses out back.
The roses.
Yes.
Edward, you like roses?
Do I like roses? Yes, I do believe that they are very fine flowers, yes.
Oh, you know what, Edward? It would be so romantic if you took me out to the roses and we took a stroll.
Oh. Well, all right. Yes, I can do that.
Like, as we're walking out, I'm like, we are looking for treasure. This is not a date.
Oh my god. Yes, I'm sorry. I am a bit disappointed. I was really looking forward to the roses.
I winked and everything. The roses, we could.
Oh, I thought you were just blinking at me with your beautiful
Could you take your
large
coat off and
eyes.
start digging in that bush over there? It looks curious.
Certainly.
I don't want you to get dirt on your coat.
No, of course, it's the most sensible thing. Don't mind me, I'll just be...
Bonsai?
Bonsai, do you want to show up in the middle of this?
No. I just say, I was just thinking, could I spend the Viscountess points to have during this time William holding some repair tools when they're talking to him.
Oh, he's come back and like they ask him after he's just been fixing the gazebo, perhaps?
Yes.
Or somewhere else? Yes.
Yes.
Totally. Yes.
He's just leading us on, actually, is what you're trying to tell me here.
Just like as you're doing that, he just comes out and he just sort of stands there as you start digging and he's like, do you need a shovel?
Yes, well, yes, of course, a shovel would be very nice. Thank you, William.
Just go ahead, darling, dig.
Hands it to you.
Okay. Ugh. It's very labor intensive, I must say.
So much.
Are you looking for something?
Yes, I buried a squirrel here and I'd like to see if it's still here. I'm just joking, Florence.
It's no squirrel, William. We were just looking for my earring. I was out
Lost her earring.
pruning the roses and I dropped an earring in the garden, William.
During this time while they're getting dirty, horse steps come. You can hear horses. Or not horses, but
Oh,
a
it
horse.
sounds like someone's here. I'll be back.
Oh.
William goes to greet whoever it is.
Did you find anything, Edward?
I'm quickly going. Do we find anything?
Bonsai, do they find anything? I feel like sure, why not?
Yeah, actually, yes. There is something. There is a diary that is there. Another book.
A lot of diaries. It's another book.
There's lots of
It's a
diaries.
box.
Florence,
No,
I-
it's a box. It is a box with like it got ripped out, pages that got ripped out.
Oh,
In this box.
Oh. Florence, I found a box. Quick. Let's shimmy away into the garden so that William comes back. He cannot find us and we can
Shimmy.
read into the...
darling, we're
So
alone. Remember,
scandalous.
it's unsightly to just be shimming away like that.
Okay, I'm sorry. Here, let's look into the box. And I lift it open. It appears to be pages. You want to read some of them?
Yes, of course.
Ooh.
This
There are
page, I
pages
think
in
it
your
looks
mother's
to be my
hand.
mother's handwriting.
Your mother's handwriting.
Yes,
Oh
this
my goodness.
her hair is so
Also,
beautiful. I miss it.
a very cheap wooden ring drops out as well.
Oh, darling, what's that? Is that that's perhaps a wine stopper? Or
It looks like
it's a ring.
looks like a ring. I take it out of your hand to look at it. Can you read me the letter?
yes, of course. The letter says. It'll come out of my mouth just like my mother's gentle voice.
I can't say how unbelievably grateful I am to Lord Ashby. I did not know how to not make myself come into ruin. And out of nowhere, he comes with a gift so that my family can accept me for who I am. I do understand the circumstances, and he says that we can have an understanding and we could be made to love each other. I do hope that my dearest will forgive me. And then on the ring insignia says V plus W.
It's like, you are so messed up. You're like, I love you. Come be a servant in my house for the rest of my life. Like,
Take care of our children. They may never know that they are yours.
That is in no way messed
No, I
up at
haven't.
all. It's
that's so messed up.
Florence,
Say she's a nice woman, okay? Goodness gracious.
No, she's really not.
Florence,
Yes.
I believe this is a
It's a ring.
oh my goodness, it's a
Yes.
ring. It's
Yes,
an engagement promise, some sort of
Yes.
lifetime of servitude ring is what it seems like.
Oh, darling, that seems out of turn. Perhaps that's just
how they preferred their relationship.
As they say, different strokes for different folks.
Did you ride up, not down? And it seemed like she was mostly lying about that part. Well, perhaps we should.
Maybe she just wanted a different life for you guys. You ever think about that?
Yeah.
Think about that. She has to
It's
live
almost like I
her
can
love
hear
in
my
secret.
mother in a coma.
I must say this makes me incredibly sad. It is like our story. Except
Except if
We've
I
been-
had married Charles, and you had become a servant in my house. And then when Charles was away kissing somebody else, I was kissing you, but you were also bringing me my tea. And also you were the parent of our children.
stop liking this so much. It's uncomfortable for me. I'm not going to be a servant, but I will make you tea on occasion if you like it that much.
I do like seeing you in the garden, Edward.
All right. Well, let's get back to what we were doing.
Should we, since we heard a carriage, perhaps put these terrible things back in the box and close it so nobody else sees them?
I mean, we could, in fact, throw them into the fire as we did
Okay,
with the
enough
previous
of the
things.
fire, Edward. Why don't we just
I'm
close the
sorry.
box,
It seems like a
darling?
very convenient way to solve this problem.
No, I'll take the ring. That would be horrific.
All
What if my
right,
mom
here you
comes
go.
back out of the coma and she wants to see her husband's ring. Thank you.
It's all right.
Shall we make towards the entrance of the house and greet whoever's arrived? Separately, though.
Yes,
you can come with me.
All right. I look a mess,
wait in
though.
another
Do I
room,
need to
it will-
clean up before we... I mean, I'm covered in dirt.
If you must, I guess.
I mean, I could change right here. Off you
I have
pop.
to- oh, the
I'll
door.
change. Go on. Go follow. I was just joking. My goodness.
Oh, God. Goodbye, Edward.
So when Florence comes around the corner, what does she see? Bonsai.
Very disheveled Charles.
Oh. Charles, thank you for coming so quickly. Are you all
Florence,
right?
Florence, please.
That is my name, Charles. What's wrong?
And he hands you more papers, just like without really explaining it.
Charles, what are these? I've gotten so many papers today.
I'm sorry, Florence.
For what? Charles?
I cannot let the sins of my family be who I am. I've been living a lie and I cannot explain this, and I am just sorry. I'm sorry, but I will make this right. I will make this right. I will make this right. Take the paperwork and tell Cuthbert I have chosen.
You have chosen.
I come around the corner. Oh, Charles! Oh, come here. And I, grab him by the arm and start bringing him into the estate. Come on, Charles.
No,
Let's have a cup of tea. It's so good to
cannot-
see you.
Edward,
No.
he doesn't want to stay. He gave me some sort of paper. He's leaving.
He's leaving.
Just put my shoulders, or not my shoulders, my hands on Edward.
Oh.
You were a friend, Edward, and I'm sorry your family got involved in this.
My family?
I wish you both the best.
Charles, I'm getting a very strange feeling from you right now. I don't quite trust it. I would really rather you come inside and discuss with us what you're talking
I will
about.
go ahead and use Heartbreaker and break off, and then climb onto the horse and ride off.
Just leave them with an ominous foreboding feeling.
Yes.
Okay.
Can I read the letter?
Yeah, what's on these papers?
What's in my papers?
The paper is basically a full confession of basically how he hates how his family has treated the society and has seen what damage has been done, and that he will make it right, and that his mother was not involved with any of this. And totally just yes.
Has Charles had a monologue token?
Yes, I already had it.
Dang it, never
Remember
mind.
that time Bonsai started crying and then gave us a thumbs up?
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember the thumbs up as soon as I asked.
I think Edward has not had a monologue.
No, I've had a monologue.
No,
Okay.
it's Cuthbert.
Oh, Cuthbert.
Cuthbert. And
You're muted.
and just
Also
and basically there's also an order, just basically like he has an order to just release Cuthbert.
May I spend my token?
Yes.
Please.
My possible murderer token?
Okay.
So I'm sure someone's going to go and release Cuthbert, right? Because we got a letter saying that we can release him and it's all fine and it's
Yeah.
all good. I mean, we've got all the evidence to say that it's fine, that Cuthbert can be
Constable's
released.
Coming in to open the door, you know, not bringing you tea this time.
But Cuthbert is not there, and neither are the goonish, thuggish faux constables. And there's evidence of some kind of struggle.
There's been a scuffle.
There's been a scuffle, and somebody heard that Cuthbert murdered their friend and accomplice, and Cuthbert has been spirited away in a bad way. Someone, perhaps not a good person, has stolen Cuthbert from confinement using their connections with the constabulary. Someone has taken Cuthbert because
He's been cuthnapped.
he's been cuthnapped, or Cuthbert has been napped, which gets rid of
They have
one more tab.
absconded with Cuthbert. How dare they?
Somebody
okay,
has
so-
stolen Cuthbert.
Yeah, so
But we
Charles
think Cuthbert's a killer, so.
leaves, and I feel like as Charles leaves and you're reading through all of this information, this poor messenger comes running. They're just like,
Oh,
and that's when they spill. Your brother's missing from the. We went to release him, and he's
Right.
gone, and there was a kerfuffle, and I'm so sorry, ma'am. We couldn't set him free. I don't know what's happened to him.
you've imprisoned and then lost.
We lost
my-
him. Yes.
You lost my imprisoned brother.
Yes.
That is,
I'm
incompetence
I'm
to
just a
second
messenger.
degree. Constable. Were you perhaps trained by babies?
Gonna use my things to rain
Like
stars.
pigs.
One of my tokens to make
Just
the
starts
rain start.
raining. Okay. I would like to offer a resolve token to myself, I guess, which is perhaps it goes to Bonsai, but perhaps that. Well, actually, I think it goes to myself. I can't remember who's playing this character.
Kane Griffin
No.
kidnapped
It
Cuthbert.
goes to Kane Griffin, and that there was evidence of footsteps leading away to the Griffin estate.
And it's also the Griffin Goons.
Yeah.
'Cause
And that is
Kane-
what this poor young messenger is like. Well, we do know something, which is that there was footsteps and they led to the Griffith estate. So he's possible. Look, I can't tell you a lot about what's happening, but because might get murdered. The Griffiths anyway, and then he just leaves.
Oh no.
Florence, do you think that Cuthbert could be at the Griffiths?
You know, I'm certain of only one thing right now, and that's all. That all constables are babies. All of them. I can't even believe that.
All constables are babies.
All constables are babies. So,
Yes.
what were you saying? I was just so confounded by how terrible he was.
Do you believe that Cuthbert could be at the
At
Griffiths?
Griffiths.
Yes.
Of course I do. The Griffiths shot Heinrich. Do you think
I'll get Windblade. I will go there immediately. We must get Cuthbert. You must stay here.
me?
No, you must stay here. You're a lady. You cannot be riding horses in the rain to go save your brother. I must do it for you.
Fine.
You can
Fine.
sit by the fire and think of other things that we might need to burn. I will get Windblade and I will be on our way.
Fine. I want to use my positive reserve tag to make myself actually stay home, because otherwise I don't think that I would.
I feel like you should use
Yeah.
your resolve token to go.
I think you should go. Like, why would
Yes.
you stay
I'm
home?
gonna use my hysterical tag
Yes, and go.
and go
Yes.
out.
Do you like take your brother's horse? You're like, what does this
Yes.
look like? Do you
Yeah,
Edward
as
leave?
soon as like Edward is out of sight, I'm like, all right, and then I grab. What's your horse's name, Cuthbert?
It would be Xanadu, of course.
I grab Xanadu
Thank you. Come now.
Naturally.
quickly, but not too quickly that Edward notices I'm right behind him.
In the rain.
In the rain.
Tear your way across the heath in the rain. You make your way to the Griffith estate, the mansion looming ahead of you, silhouetted against the graying sky as the sun is dramatically like setting it in the horizon, making it this crimson orange red color. A lightning bolt strikes a tree right next to the estate. And you see, I'm going to spend a certain Gregory McDermott's resolve token. You see 3 figures, I think? Bonsai, what
4.
were you going to see? 4.
Maybe.
What's happening? Bonsai, you tell me what you know and then I'll add to it.
Okay, so there's definitely, you know what? Actually, yes, there might be one figure more in the foreground, huddling next to another figure, and 2 in the front ground, looking like they're in dueling positions.
So you see these figures. I think there's actually you see these silhouettes. It's on the grounds in front of the estate. There's Cuthbert, and then
Tied up.
there's like 3. Yeah, tied up naturally. Okay. There's like goons flanking him, and then there's 3 figures in this sort of standoff. And you would hear a voice that you may or may not recognize, but we as the audience would recognize, like, "Let him go," and it's very clearly Gregory. And then what happens, Bonsai?
It's dark.
It's dark.
Shots,
rain.
shots in darkness.
And then it just end scene.
Yes.
What a cliffhanger!
There are 2 gunshots. We'll say there are 2 gunshots. Ring out, and then it fades, immediately cuts out.
Oh, and a body falls. One of the
and
bodies
then
falls.
a thud. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
1 or 2. 1 staggers, 1 falls.
Nice.
Okay. 1 staggers, and then 2 gunshots.
Well, 1 falls, 1 staggers, and so.
This is great. So much. And that's where we'll end today's episode. No letters this week.
No letters.
No letters.
I have nothing to write home
Don't
about
make me
personally,
take my
so.
coat off again. Oh, sorry.
Or maybe maybe you should take your coat off again. I mean,
You're gonna
that's
fight.
everyone's.
You might as well take your coat off. It's raining.
Yeah, it's true. White
Everyone's here,
shirt.
everyone's here for some sort
Yeah,
of
you probably
Regency
should, too.
thirstiness.
Horse bucks. Oh, it's so good. We'll replay that whole scene at the end. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here and for joining us. We're going to do a really quick wrap up for all of you so you can find out when and where you can find us. And we'll be back next week for the final episode of A State of Affairs.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
both sad, but also excited. All right, let's start us off with Troublemaker 1 Bonsai.
Troublemaker 1!
Hi, Bonsai baby. You can find me here on Twitch. I do woodworking, like I said, and just messing around. And yeah, I love role playing. Woo!
All right, Troublemaker 2 Murgles.
Oh, hi, I'm Murgles. I almost started speaking my little fake accent there for a second. You can find me on Twitch at Murgles, and this was super fun. Thank you.
Troublemaker 3 Trooper.
Hello, I'm Trooper SJP. You can find me on my channel. I'm sort of making the role-playing game I have on Friday nights at 7 o'clock. This a French resistance game. It's excellent. And also, my character is trussed up a little bit in the rain. It's dangerous. And who knows what's going to happen?
Who knows who got shot?
Who knows who got shot? People have gotten shot. The peoples have been shot and everything. So, you know, it's dangerous.
And finally, Troublemaker 4 Lexi.
I'm the last troublemaker, which means I'm the least troublesome, of course.
That's not true.
Oh.
How quick that no was.
I might have the turntable.
Let's just put that. You're all You're all equally troublemaker.
all very trouble.
Oh, thank you.
I believe in equality too. Equality of troublemaking.
The true equality.
Look to games. I play games on the internet, specifically on Twitch. And otherwise, I'm on Twitter. Currently, right now, just yelling about how you should believe that people are allowed to live and not die. So if you want to hang out for that, which is a cool fact, you can do that. Also, all constables are baby. Love you so much. Thank you for letting me play Florence today.
It's very good. I've been Random Tuesday. You can find me on my channel, Random Tuesday. I also play Dungeons and Dragons on the Dungeons and Dragons channel on Mondays, so you can come watch that. And I just have had an absolute blast. Y'all make my job very easy, so thank you. We will see you all next week to see if we can wrap all of this up.
Yes.